Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting on the invader. All praise to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck am I going? Who the hell could I be? All this time I've been lost. Vessel trapped in the sea. Chains holding my legs. I just want to be free. Bitch picking my throat. Hell yeah, they know it. Heritage keep going. You can see it in my phenotypes and that damn empty is showing. This knowledge keeping me steady. 45 on my hip. And my armor, man, stay ready. I hit the streets in my Chevy. Blunt, burn, smoke in heaven. Man, here you go, I got plenty. Prayers up for what's in it. In the land, I lost many. Cause every nigga ain't feeling. And every man ain't willing. No D-bows, but selling. No heroes for my family. What pigs killing us daily. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting on the invader. All praise to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting on the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck you come from? Kidnapping our baby. 11 million abortions. Whole country is scorched. They stealing my portion. Bitch, give me my land back. We ain't signed no contracts. Why you wasting all of our trust funds? We don't know who your dad is, but we know who your kid is. Take the food off of my plate. Eat that shit with my phone. You invader. Motherfucking invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting on the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises.
Peace, 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 love, and light to all American Aborigines, North, East, South, Central, and adjoining islands. Make sure y'all thumb up the video so YouTube can get the algorithm out there. We got the brother Duke of Tears on here with us. And if you don't mind, brother Duke of Tears, giving the people your cash out so we can get those donations going around for you today. Absolutely. We want to make sure we show gratitude for your time. Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate that. My cash app is cash, the money sign, DS418. So that's DS418 after the money sign, capital D, capital S, 418, money sign. So thank you guys for any support, any donations, inshallah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna finish up with one more good old song. With a couple good songs, and we're gonna get ready to get this thing started off like how we usually do. Make sure y'all support the brother channel. That link is in the chat right now. Make sure y'all support the brother. It is on the chat. And my moderators, make sure y'all copy that and constantly post that throughout this build. Make sure y'all slap that like button. We about to get it in. We're gonna play the next song. We got 2 more songs coming up. And let's get it, y'all. Absolutely, the link is in there.
No beef! No beef! No beef! No beef!
We gon' die every day. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported, fought for rights. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white, drugged up, slugged up, beat red, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all the plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, rape your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you was a slave, nothing before me. He himself only been free since 1840. I'm recording, I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, head straight to Canada's Israel. The fake about me, no cap rap me, I just fed the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky fried, extra crispy, wear a lot of gold, cause my family history. I'm the guy to know, bring death to history. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Power, only respect power. Respect power.
Get them likes up, y'all. Let's get them likes up in the building. Come on, y'all. Share this shit on all your social media outlets. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Our churches set our kids on fire. Police keep erasing because they backed up by the nation. Nation ain't complaining.
It's DSR, I believe. DSR 418.
Ain't no history in blackness. No reason for that chatting if you bitch up when it's action. AR on my body, tell the bro to grab the shot. It know nothing new addition. Finna hit him with this body. I can't shoot the shit, but 30 should've missed. 54 races, 100 folks click. Anytime we present, they don't want the shit. They don't want the problems. Snitches get the stick. Talking all that hatred, end up running like a bitch. Quick to call the lives, quick to play the bitch. But we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. So we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black.
Tell us we black, but we ain't. We already know that, man. Shout out, man. We're gonna get this thing started. Waiting on the brother to get back in. We got one more song we're gonna get into before we start this thing off. Let's get it. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Share it on all your social media outlets. Slap the like button. Let's get it.
Welcome. Once again, it's time. Yeah. It's King Aseer, I'm demanding respect. I see everybody balling till it's time to connect. I see everybody.
Wrong song. Sorry about that. Wrong song. Let's get it. This is the last song. Let's get it before we get to it.
As we reopen.
Damn commercials. Y'all know how YouTube is.
Open up the heavens, let the sunshine in. The Duke is an empress about to begin. Giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. Here comes the Duke tears with some more
going out till the almanac. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the almanac. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the homie.
Moving through like an eagle, more like a stinging bee. Ancestors is trapped right in front of me. Amorrica dynasty live inside me. Moon goddess is work, she works, native make her greatness. And wow, natural style, rain dancer under the moon, knock through the pearly gates. Escape from Spain to Panama, I'm still ahead of y'all. Never racing, just go facing to the top of the dome. We stand tall, y'all. Never lazy, so I clap back. For all the mod talking shit, never stop. A little petite, but never retreat. 10K is no gonna talk, y'all. Chopper riding, we awake, very deep streaming. ET beaming, bloodshot, lightsaber walker, wolf talker, never stop.
Till the almanac, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the almanac. Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole. know the soul, you know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the tomahawk chop. An entire city block, big buffalo people coming back to wreck shop. Hip hop about it pop, can't stop the reverse for raw. Indigenous rock with the native chant, Christ war dance, at a glance. Anyone who glance, that's the Shechem war dance. Choose 7 feather owl, the Moorish code of power. Make all these 14th Amendment rappers throw in the towel. Square, compass, and travel. These masons taking oaths, disrespecting ancestors, selling their souls to ghosts. Raise my glass, make a toast to Aboriginal hosts, traveling through the cosmos. That's most, meaning that's on top. My wounded knee bandaged up, Black Hawk, what's up? Geronimo skull. We taking it back from the tomb of the bones when we coming in the room. Very soon, like Allman, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the Allman, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the
Welcome to
OG.
the heavens, let the sunshine in. This is Kids and Empress. I'm about to begin. Giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. You come to the kids with some more offerings.
All right, y'all. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light to all American Aborigines. For y'all that may be new, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, share this on all your social media outlets. And for those that do want to donate to the Brother Duke of Tears, my moderators will be constantly putting that link in the chat. And I appreciate my moderators. We got the Brother Duke of Tears. Peace, brother. Peace and blessings. Peace, love, and light. How you feeling?
I'm well, my brother. Islam, peace, Islam alaikum, shalom alaikum, shalom alaikum, Tatanka, to all the original peoples, planet Earth. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Let's get a mic check from the viewers. Can we get a 1? If y'all can hear everything loud and clear, I want to make sure everything is crystal clear. When it comes to the sound, we want to make sure all this information get out. Can we get a 1 if all the sound from the Brother Duke of Tears is good? You can. So let's get 2. We got some 1s. We got some 2s. What we got? They say you might need to get a little closer to the mic.
A little closer? How about this?
That's perfect.
Better?
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, that's
Better?
perfect. All right, yeah. All right, well, y'all bear with us. We got the brother in here. Let's get right into it. Shout out to the brother. Well, let's get this thing on right. The first question I want to come with, what is the connection between the Moors history, the Indian history, and the Aboriginal history? Is there any connection? Is it one and the same, or are they totally different? I'm gonna mute myself.
They're actually, in a sense, one and the same to a point. It's just that the confusing aspect would be the term Aboriginal, because that's more of a designation. It's a designation more than it is an actual name of a people. Technically, the only Aboriginal people or a nation that is considered Aboriginal, can be called the Aboriginal nation, is that nation out of what they call now Australia. The name of their nation is actually called the Aboriginal nation. So outside of that, Aborigine or Aborigine or an origine or whatever the name is that you would describe as the very first people. Some people use the term, like when we discovered the term Watonkin back in 98, it was rarely used like that. And when you started to see how, as time progressed further into the future, as people began to use.
Hold on. They saying you real low. I got a lot of tools in here. I'm sorry about that, family. If you can just get in as close as you can. If you want to turn your mic off too, so it won't be awkward or whatever, that's fine as well. We can throw a good picture up so everybody can so your picture can be up as well. That's no problem. But yeah, let's get it now. Let's see what we got now.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Is it better? Worse? Any better?
Let me see from the chat. It still sounds the same to me. Chat, what y'all think? We just gonna have to work with what we got right now, family.
Literally like right in my face. What about now? Better? Worse?
I think it's better. But actually the audio when you turn your mic off, I mean your camera off, I think the audio works a little better.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
If you hit the camera button down there, it should click it off, and then you can just hold the phone close to the microphone part, close as you can, brother. Sorry about that. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, share us on all your social media outlets. We're about to get right into it, you guys. We're about to get right into it. All right, let's get it. Let's get it.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, it's still the same. The people, what y'all gonna have to do is turn the YouTube up, turn your videos up, turn your TVs up. This is loud as we can get it. Bear with us.
Okay.
So let's get it. The question. Go ahead. You can finish the question. I'm gonna mute myself.
Well, what I'm saying is, do you want me to take the camera off, or you want me to just talk, like, or both?
You can do it just like this. It's fine because it's still the same either way, so it ain't making no difference. It's fine. You can leave your camera on.
Okay. So the question was what again? I'm sorry.
Is there a connection between the Aboriginal indigenous people of America in contrast to the Moorish history and then Indian history? When I mean Aboriginal indigenous people, I mean the melanated people that was here in North America and South America. And then we got the so-called Indians, the melanated people claiming to be Indians, and then we have the same with the Moors. And what is the connection?
Indian was somebody that was Moorish, that was born on the land of America, that was kidnapped and brought to other territories and enlisted as that. So the Negroes, okay, Aboriginal is a definition, you understand, describing an individual that was the oldest or the first people that were from whatever region or society they come from, you understand? So if you were born in Europa, right, let's say Britannia, what they call Britain now, and your people were always from Britain, that means that you, as a melanated person, is Aboriginal to Britain. You understand? If I was born here in the country of America and have always been here, ancestors always been here, then I'm indigenous to America. If there's a person that's born in what they now call Indonesia and they come from the old Chandragupta Mauryan dynasties that was over there, that eventually became absorbed into what we now call Indonesia and all of that, then that means they're the Aboriginal people there. You stop being an Aboriginal when you give up what your original landmass or people was originally, either by force or by coercion or whatever, right? Therefore, you're always original to where you're from. However, if you change the status by which you were in that place, then you are no longer, let's say, aboriginal to the place. Because you, of your own definition, decided that you're going to go into the new version of what the old place that you lived in was. That's where they created the compact. So there is no Aboriginal, let's say, nation. Like, you can't say that you're an Aboriginal nation of people unless you're part of the Aboriginal nation that's on books today out of Australia. They're the only people with a passport that they are referred to as Aboriginal nation. Matter of fact, they're the ones that gave a passport to Julian Assange the WikiLeaks dude. They were the only ones to give him one to be able to get out the country and go where he was going. You know what I'm saying? So when we say that we're Aboriginal, what you're really saying is that your ancestors have always been in America, right? So if that's the case, then the people who were always here in America were the people who, again, were always here. So if you are claiming descent of a native, let's say somebody whose ancestors came around the 13th century, right? Then you can be native, because in the 13th century, there was a succession of invasions that came from Asia, as well as from the continent they call Africa. But in both instances, both peoples that came were technically melanated, meaning that they were melanated people in power. There were no white people coming over here controlling nothing until way later in history. So when we speak of the oldest peoples here, you want to get into names like the Aztecs and the Mayas and the ancient Incas and these people. But when you look at the political systems that they were in, those peoples were, again, not only indigenous to the land, but they were also what we would consider today Moorish peoples. Because when we look at the actual congressional record, remember, it's facts over feelings. When we look at the congressional record, specifically on the annexation of Texas in 1855, I believe line 26 or something in the actual breakdown, it says that beyond the Rio Grande and the Bravo and the Nueces rivers lies the ancient Mauritania, the lands that belong to the ancient Mauritanians, the Moorish peoples, and their Indian associates. So the Indian associates were always put at the bottom because those people who were considered Indians in our ancient culture were not called that by us. We refer to them as Zambos. These people that you see, when you see like real dark looking so-called Native Americans, or what they call American Indians, the real dark ones, but they phenotypically still have like Asian type features. They are the ancient ones. They were the ones that were descended from those Moors who in the 13th century beat back the invasion that came from what we now today call China, what we used to call Cathay. And there was a series of wars in which once they got checked and they were stopped, the foot soldiers they had, the ones today that we would phenotypically see as Native Americans, they didn't have nowhere else to go. They couldn't go back where they came from. So we gave them what we would consider today reservations in the plains where they all could just stay at. That's why they lived in teepee structures, and they were migrants, and they lived off of the buffalo, that type of stuff, because they weren't indigenous to this place. They had to learn how to live here. You understand? Because they, again, their ancestors came in the 13th century with this invasion that came from Asia. So once we put them in proper check, you had those of us that lived in the cities or the metropolises, right? And then you had those of us that were part of things like the Kituwa Society, but they also used to refer to as the False Face Society. And what they would do is that they were like Moors today. You know, like you have people today who will live like in the woods, live off the land and stuff, and they don't necessarily live in the cities and stuff like that. That's how a lot of these so-called tribes like the Creeks and the darker skinned original ones was. So because they was already in these areas, they had to teach these people how to live here. And so they gave them little reserves and places for them to live that way. And they were put under the jurisdiction of those so-called clans or prides that we today call tribes that was there and put over them. The same way anybody who was put over another group of people to make sure they don't go back to their old ways used to be.
Perfect. That's gonna transition. I'm sorry to cut your wisdom, brother. Make sure y'all smash that like button. This is gonna transition me to my next question. Since we know that the people here that's claiming to be Aboriginal is only meaning first of existence, and so what they want to attach themselves to is some of the compliments, the attributes, and inventions here. And I also heard people of that's on another side that's going to Indian saying this is Moorish, and then you got people that's Aboriginal saying that they built the pyramids, and they both point at the same location. You see what I'm saying? So how does this tie in, and what does the Madrid earthquake have to do with all this?
Well, what we're not dealing with is that nobody held no sway in the world prior to 1942 but the Moors. After 1492 is when you get the term Indian and all of these other misnomers. That's because in order for the dirty Moors, i.e. the Spanish, right, those who became Spanish, in order for them to dictate the terms of how the empire was now going to be reorganized now, under the Roman system, now they needed to create protocols that would then disunify the greater Moorish empire that wasn't with none of this conversion. You understand? And so those of us that was over here that wasn't with the actual expulsion of what happened, when everything got reorganized under, let's say, the Spanish, the only way that happened was because they were able, what the people we call, remember, there was no Spain in 1492. So when we say that the Moors fell to Spain in 1492 and all that, there was no Europe, there was none of that. None of that existed. It was just one global empire that we held universal sway over, and then we had different dominions and satraps that we received tribute from, for those people that technically weren't of the greater empire, but they were still a part of the overall trade system that we created throughout the world. You understand? And so when you dealt with post the fall of the empire, now between, let's say, 1492 and let's say 1666, what you're getting is those people who are striving to put themselves back in power by any means, right? Going against people who know they've seized power illegally. You understand? But both of these people doing that is melanated. There's no Caucasian people making choices in this time I'm talking about. Because the history got us thinking that Caucasian people is the ones that orchestrated all of this. And I'm telling you, none of them came into power until after the 1900s. So when we talk about these Indian wars, everybody act like when they use the term Indian, like I said, which again is a Spanish word that's coming from Los Indios, meaning the godless ones. Los Indios, meaning lost from God. And so those who were Los Indios were usually the kidnapped princes and princesses that were then put into another faction, in another capacity, in an inferior state, in order for whoever kidnapped them to seize their estate. You see what I'm saying? And hold on to it through clouding the original title of what clan or pride or tribe or empire this individual really came from. So you have a bunch of people who started to call themselves different things. So when your overall empire fractured, you could only use the tribal name, or people felt they could only use their tribal name to associate themselves with. Because Moors were under attack from 1492 up to 1666. So they had kill orders on us. You understand? So we would go in certain areas, and if you was wearing a fez, if you was speaking Latin, if you was wearing a turban, if you was wearing what you call it, a war bonnet like mine with the fez in the back. You see, I got the fez in the back. If you was wearing it like this, you see what I'm saying? That meant that you understood.
Can I ask you a question about the? Go ahead.
That means
I want to ask you.
I
want to ask you a question about the war bonnet and what does that symbolize? Just for the clarity.
All head dresses are a part of an ancient practice that they used to refer to as the Mithraic sacrifice. And that is when you sacrifice your own vanity, right? Which for a lot of people begins and ends with the hair, right? When you cover your head like that, that is you sacrificing your vanity to adorn it to represent the Most High. You understand? So the war bonnet, like what I'm wearing now, would be worn by those who are either medicine kings, medicine chiefs, medicine chiefs, war chiefs, or pipe carriers, or fire keepers. You understand? So in the you can turn on the air. So in the whole empire, especially in parts of it, your family name represents your pride, i.e. your tribe, right? Your Moorish title represents the clan that is the progenitor of that. Okay? Names like Anasazi, Apache, Comanche, Skykill, Anasazi, Hopi, Mohegan, Mecca, or Mohegan, all of those are Islamic words. So ask yourself then, if the Indians was their own people and they had nothing to do with the Moors and Islam, how is it that all of their tribal names, or most of their tribal names, all have Islamic roots? But when we're talking Islam, I'm not talking about the religion that was fostered in 7th century AD. That
Are you telling?
Was the late version. We've been
Are you
practicing
telling?
or true
Are you?
Islam before there was an actual person that you would refer to as Muhammad. That's how old we are on this thing. But we tend to date our history based upon the occupiers' nomenclatures. If I can date when you started calling yourself Indian, you was not an Indian in the beginning. Do you understand? It's that simple. And we have to understand that all of the Civil Rights Act, when you really look at the Civil Rights Acts that they put on Negroes, the original name of the Civil Rights Act was the Indian Rights Act. You understand? They converted you. First, they took you from the Moorish estate because that's where most of your international power was at. Then they reduced you to a domestic state. So in a domestic state, you still had jurisdiction because you still were from the tribes and the clans that were descended from these ancient civilizations, like the Phoenicians, like the Etruscans, like the Phrygians, and these other people that was all up and down South America and North Central South America.
You going in on the history, and I hope everybody's paying attention. Make sure y'all thumb up this video. I want to make sure that I'm understanding. Are you telling me that Islam, the culture, the foundation, the principles was already in America prior to
that the life culture of Islam predates the 6th century when the so-called religion that they ascribe to the Arabs over there as creating it started. Because we can find the name Allah on the temple of Abydos. I've done videos on it. You understand? And Abydos existed how many thousands of years before there was even an Arabian Peninsula? So we was using the term Allah, and I could find hieroglyphs on the stone walls over there and over here. How is it that we are dating it by when they, the conquerors, took their version of it and then enslaved people to that, the same way they did with Christianity, the same way they did with Judaism, the same way they did with the Hindu stuff? You see what I'm saying? That's what they do. They impose their version of what you was really doing and then conceal the real shit for themselves and their Freemasonic shit and then give you the fake shit. So you think back in the days that we was always making salat in Mecca and all of that, but I could show you pictures of hieroglyphs of people in Kemet from the first old kingdom making the same salat, wearing the same fezzes, having prayer rugs. How come we ain't talking about that? Because it's not advantageous, because you have to create a boundary in your mind as to who your people are. So that way you're always at odds with the people trying to give you the real and show you that we're more connected than we're not. But what disconnects us is the psychological barrier that you, the listener, you, the watcher, create based upon the miseducation you were given by Black people, by white people, by U.S. education, by global reconstruction, you understand? That puts you into a racial group, puts you into a racial category. When all you got to do is read a book like Ancient and Modern Britons, and it will tell you that the original Welsh, the Cornish, the Basques, the Normans, the Danes, all of these are melanated people who happen to be aboriginal to Europe. But they decided to bring their system over here. And it wasn't until Charles V became the first Inca emperor from Europe, first king from Europe, from the House of Bourbon and the Habsburgs, to sit on the Inca throne as the 25th emperor. When did they ever tell you that? This is why they were able to come in and change up shit, because they had to marry into the original families to do that, because it was families fighting families, not nations and countries. Because at the time I'm talking about, there was no Spain, there was no Britain, there was no Ireland, there was no England.
Well, that's perfect. I'm glad you said that.
All of that is modern shit.
I want to ask you.
Older than half of the world right now. Think about that.
Hey, let me ask you a question. That's fire. He just said his grandmother is older than half of these country and culture and history that they've been given.
It's older than Spain. It's older than Zambia. It's older than Ghana. It's older. Because think about this. How is it that people say they're indigenous, but then they use European names to identify their countries? Think about that. What I'm saying
that's true. Hey, let me ask you a question, because people always like to throw this up. Because I told you my demographic is a little different. You got Indians, you got Aboriginals, you got Moors, and sometimes it gets polite in times with this conversation. You got some people that'll tell you Moors is from Morocco in history, when Morocco is something recent over there to that terrain or to that continent. Where was Morocco in times of antiquity?
Morocco is wherever the empire and the dominion of the empire existed, because Almorac or Moroccan, the Almoracan people, are a unified people from the same creed. So at one point, in the old thing, this place was called Almarac, right? It was also called Amorrica, right? It was also called Aramacabo. It was also called Aramacapana. It was also called Almoracana. You understand? In different tongues. So the same way, like if I live in Brooklyn, Brooklyn was called Medina, right? But it's only Medina to the gods who know that that's the name that we called it. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So unless you know the slang, unless you know the tribe that I'm with, if I say, yo, I'm going to the Oasis, you know I'm talking about this, the Queens. If I say, oh, I'm going to, if I'm going to the desert, I'm going to Queens. If I'm going to Medina, I'm going to Brooklyn. If I'm going to Mecca, I'm going to Harlem. Unless you're in the know as to what these names mean, you don't know where I'm talking about. You understand?
Right. So
now apply that linguistically now back in the days when you would say something like, look, I'm about to take a league travel to the Maghreb Al-Aqsa. So now if I say the Maghreb, I'm talking about the West. If I say the Maghreb Al-Aqsa, I'm saying the Morocco of the farthest West. So that can mean anything west of Morocco over there, North Africa, that didn't become that until 1956, all the way to Alaska, which is what the term Alaska means. Again, Alaska is
okay.
Which means the
perfect. You just said something that's key, because we always hear about certain history in Russia. We always hear certain history in Russia, and we know that Alaska is connected with Russia. How important was that the Russia to the history of the American Aborigines contribution and what they had going on? What was Russia to them?
Ancient Russia, before it was Russia, it was Tartary. And then before it was Tartary, it was Turin. When you read about what we call farthest Asia or whatever, in the Bible, they refer to it as Turin. In the ancient anthropology, one of the oldest cultures, the giant culture that was out there in Turin that helped build the pyramids under King El Amir was the Adad people, or the Adad. They were the ones that actually built the pyramids. When you actually do and get the real knowledge. There's these giants, and they quarried the stones from Turin, which again is ancient China, which is why the Tatarians and these people were like giants almost. And so they reconsolidated at a certain time under different sub-kingdoms, right? So at the fall of Tamerlane, so Tamerlane goes, then Temujin comes, that's Genghis, right? Then the Kublai Khan comes, right? Then boom. So the first dynasties in ancient China, from the Han, from the Qian to the Han, to the Song, to the Zhao, all of these are Moors. All of these are Asiatics. All of these are dark-skinned, melanated people who can trace their genealogy back to all of the ancient serpent kings from the Naga kingdoms, and then they can trace their lineages all the way back to the fifth serpent kings over here in what we call South America, in the culture. Whether we're talking about Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan or the Hero Twins or them type of things. So we're talking about one culture that built its societies around or across the plane that we call the globe, all along the 33rd parallel. So wherever you find these cultures that exist on the 33rd parallel, even though they have little things that are nuanced different, they are all part of the same culture. What the Caucasian has done is he's taken the national names and then told you that you was one thing, and then told your other brother he was something else. And now he got y'all trying to fight to say who's the one. And then those of us that go back to the original root, right? Before there was so-called Indians and the people you talking about here, you know who was here? The Phoenicians, the Carthaginians. You know who they was? Moors, okay? They were the ones that set up the original American Republic that was enshrined in the original republic that we find today in what we call Marrakesh, what you guys call Philadelphia. That's why they established the original American Republic in 223 BC. That's why they established the Born Stone, which is the legal representation of who and where this landmass is annexed back to, which is the old Moorish, Carthaginian, Phoenician, Canaanite, Moabite Empire. That's still on a stone today that I've used legally to show and prove my dominion over the land as a descendant from no direct people. Right? And because of that, legal precedent exists. These are the people who established the original republic that is really enshrined in the imperial records in the so-called National Archives, in the Library of Congress. But to read them records, you got to know where they at. Then you also got to understand that a lot of that stuff is still in Old Punic Latin. Some of it's in Sanskrit. Some of it's in Kufic, because that's the languages we were speaking here. Before any of that, the reason why the republic was founded, for which it stands, that means that there is no democracy. That means the democracy is the fake government, and the democracy is what created the Indians in legal paper. So that way they could dominate and decide who the original Indians would be, while they disregarded the original Indians and put them under a false designation as Negro, Black, and colored. That's why, being that we, the Carthaginians, founded the original American Republic, that's exactly why the symbol for the Republican Party is the elephant. Because these are the same elephants that we was using. The Prophet Noble Ali said the Moors used to use elephants like guard dogs. And what does the Democratic Party use? It uses the ass, which is a symbol of what? Set. You see what I'm saying? Which is a symbol of what? The ass. That's why they so into democratic socialists are usually Marxists, and those Marxist democratic socialists are usually homosexuals. And isn't that what's happening right now politically in the whole situation?
Absolutely. The outburst.
That's the Roman Curia that was instituted by everybody that fell under the Roman auspices of how government should run after the fall of the Moors. So the reason why you're an Indian is because you had Jesuits coming from the Good Society of Jesus, trained by Ignatius Loyola, to make you denounce being a Moor. Because if you would to claim yourself to be that, they would hang you, they would kill you, they would shoot you, because they're using your estate to create this fake reality. And they use Christianity to do it. Because what the European Moors would do, or the European nobility would do when they would fight with one another, is they would get the Caucasian slaves that they would own, and they would promise the slaves, the castrados, the inferior ones, that if they go and attack this Moorish duchy, this Moorish kingdom, and they are able to win and take it over for them, that they would then be freed and accepted under the jurisdiction of whatever black noble is putting them up to do that. And then once they did that, they could rent the land. They would be made sons. See, freed and accepted made sons that came up by going and taking the land from somebody that didn't look like them. Then, once the land was taken, then the dirty European black man, king or whatever, that set the white people to do that, he would set them up to be the gatekeepers and pay him rent. And then he would wipe out the bloodline of whatever the noble's land that he took over by forcing his children to marry the slaves. You understand? This is what they doing today. They still doing it. So when I'm talking to you about the colors thing in the black community, that came from the black European nobilities that used to disenfranchise and disinherit each other by proxy, by forcing them to have sex and babies with the infidel. Because back in the days, a bastard was not somebody that didn't have their father's name. It was somebody that was born to you from an inferior nation. And the only inferior nations on the world at that time were the Slovenian nations, because they were all under the boots of the black European nobility, who married into the original families here at the close and fall of the Moorish Empire, and then clouded the title as to who really ran it prior to that. So the only way out is the way in. So the question is, what were you before 1492? Because you damn sure wasn't no damn Indian. And if you was, that means that your mother was a slave that was taken and raped between the 15th and the 16th century in order for you to be known as a Native American, according to the legal definition in the Bureau of Indian Affairs. So if you want to be associated with that, that's on you. You understand? But you gotta, my grandmother used to say, you give a man what his hand called for. If you don't know your real name and you answer to somebody else's, then you belong to the person whose name you're wearing. That's why you see Shriners, the dirty ones, the Shriners wearing the fake fezzes with the name on it. Because the name represents the Moor in spirit that they belong to, who owns them, for keeping the secret. You understand? So you could be an Indian if you want, but that's only going to get you but so far. And that started with the Act of Congress of 1871. So that's not going to get you what you think you do, because in order to do that, you are dependent upon the United States definition as to what an Indian is. And when have they ever told you anything about yourself to benefit yourself that you didn't catch them in or have to force them to do? The only way
I want to touch on a couple things that you said. You are going in, and it's a lot to digest, y'all. Make sure y'all smack them like buttons. Make sure y'all share this on all your social media outlets. I want to go back to you saying the nation was established by Carthaginian and Phoenicians here in what you would call what do you say? You said this was called Amorrica at the time, or a variation of what you would call that, Amorrica or Amorrican, what do you say?
You at? Like the Chinese,
right.
The ancient Japanese used to call America Bay Coco. Bay Coco. The land of the cocoa bays, or the land of the black bays. You understand? Like bays, like Moors. Before it was even called Japan, because that's not even the name of that place. That place is actually Nehon. That's what the Moors called it. So when I go I refer to it as Nehon and shit, they know. Oh, you know the real.
So let me ask you a question. When we look at some of these murals and some of these steles down in Mayan culture, Olmec culture, and you see these invasions of what you would call Eurasians, Mongoloid, Asian phenotype. Who are these particular people and that's coming here, and who are these particular people, to your understanding, that's melanated in position in this land?
The only people melanated originally from this land is the people that look like me and you. Everybody else came here after, was an admixture of us mating with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else here. There was no Mexican looking people here before you. There wasn't. And they wasn't the ones that built the pyramids. None of these so-called Native American people is telling you that they built the pyramids or the mounds. So why are we listening to them or trying to follow the way that they do shit when they really just got all of that together from the United States government? When they were forced to go to the Moors Indian charity schools, when they was giving out nationalities to white people that didn't have them. But that part of your history is gone. You don't know nothing about that. So you got to go by what the white man say. And again, he's always lying. And his black Freemason buddy ain't going to tell you the truth. They
Right.
re-educated these.
You scratch a lie, you catch a thief.
There was no Nigeria in the 1500s, man. There was no Zambia. None of these places existed, bro. Up until the 1900s. And even after that. You understand? There was no Zimbabwe until 1960. There was no Sicily and Italy. There was no Greece until the 70s, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So why are these people that's just there now acting like they the ones that built all that when they know they just got there? You understand? Oh, because they speak the language. They speak the language that your ancestors taught them. And your ancestors then, they forced you to stop speaking everything so that way they could speak it. And they made you forget. They hit you in the head for 250 years, man. Y'all niggas is waking up, acting like y'all experts at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just woke up last month, man. There's nothing older than the Moorish Empire when it comes to, when we look at historical records as to who was banging on Europe, who was bringing the world out of dark ages, as to who was changing the physical genetic makeup, the food makeup of the entire planet was changed from the fall of Rome to the fall of the Moorish Empire. We're the ones that kept it going. They didn't say Egypt kept you going through the dark ages. They didn't say Greece kept you going. They didn't say the Mesopotamians did it. They didn't say the white people did it. All cultures in the world refer back to the same people, us. And y'all want to be something else. Y'all want to be what they called you after you lost power. So do that. But don't get mad at those of us that know better and do better and understand that if it wasn't for the prophet Noble Drew Ali, y'all would not even know. Noble Drew Ali was the very first being in the Americas who again came from a Cherokee background, right? Cahokia Cherokee background, right? Born in Sampson County in the Republic, you understand? Who then told you that when the Europeans got here, he seen Moors traveling up and down the Mississippi River. He didn't say he didn't say white Europeans. He didn't say Caucasian when the Caucasians came here and did that. He said the Europeans. It's in your mind that you done made the term European mean white. It's in your mind that you got Indian meaning somebody that looked Mexican. It's in your mind that they got you thinking that you was the slave when you could never be from Slovenia. You understand? They got niggas thinking, they got niggas calling themselves slaves. That's like you calling yourself a Russian. You can't do that because you was never from Russia. You understand? But you claiming it so that way you could get benefits. When all you got to do is claim your real nationality, which then puts your domestic nationality into proper context. So if my name is John Smith Bay, I'm not John Smith from Europe because Smith is a Tasalagi name, is an Ananawiya name. You understand? They call them slave names because the slaves adopted your name and gave it to themselves and then took your title from you. So if I'm John Smith Bay, I'm John of the Smith Ananawiya, of the Moorish clan of Bay. You see how that work? Together. That's what they was doing in the Iroquois Confederacy. That's what they was doing in the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. That's what they was doing in the Kituwa Society. That's what they was doing in the Great Seneca and Monacan Confederation. That's what they was doing when they actually got together at the Treaty of Elm, where we used to consecrate the bays and the days in what they now call Delaware on Elm Street, where the Great Tree of Life was, and used to consecrate that. And the Delaware Moors that used to do that were called the Eels. The very first treaty that the so-called Indians made was with the British, right? But what was the treaty with? It was with the Moors, the Delaware Moors. who were also called Algonquin, because Algonquin is a dialect. Haudenosaunee is a dialect. It's not a
Boom. I'm glad you brought that up. I found some I was reading a book the other day dealing with the Algonquins traveling to Northwest Africa, Europe, and civilizing and bringing science there. Do you know
why all these Indian tribes got Islamic names? That's what I keep telling the people.
Alabama, for instance.
The Anasazi, the Hopi, the Abenaki, the Wabanaki, the Creek. The Creeks, when you say the Creeks, you're talking about the Mayans. The Creeks are Mayans. The Mayan Creeks were all of the ones that would travel the trade route that ended up in
Go in on that.
We used to have trade routes like the Silk Road and all that. We had all of that traveled all the way through. One of the biggest ones is on the East Coast, right there in the Central Square on Trade and Triumph in North Carolina. That's where all of the Moors from the four corners would meet and do trading. That's where we was trading camels, elephants, gold, spice, all types of stuff. And then we would go back to where they was from. So those people who became Creeks were those tribes that chose to stay and not go back down to where the Mayan Empire was at. So they were all Mayas. So when they talk about the Miamis, the Creeks, the Northern Creeks, the Southern Creeks, the Seminoles, all of these are Mayans. These are old Mayan people because they are the ones that used to trade with the Yamasee. When you looked at the movie Apocalypto, remember the blue dye that they was putting on the people that's going to get sacrificed? You saw that movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
The blue dye that they was putting on, that blue dye comes from the red clay of Georgia. Just like in the new Lovecraft movie, TV show, when they was talking about the black woman Hippolyta, when she was being in the scene where she gave her name and you saw the white people coming to attack her from the back, that happened in America. That's all here in America. That happened in Tech. That was like Texas. That's why they all had Confederate uniforms on. But they got you thinking Africa. But what you don't understand is that the Freemasons know that Africa is a code word for Earth. So the white man is saying, go back to Africa. He telling you, go back to the original Earth where y'all niggas is from. Because this fake one, we running it. But what niggas is doing is trying to go into the fake system and use fake nationality to be able to get a real result. All because they don't want to be Moors, because they done heard that this one said about the Moors, and oh, this one more. But they ain't never heard about Moors. They don't know nothing really about it. Because they always getting it from somebody else that most likely is a Freemason. Because a lot of these Aboriginal niggas that's on these shows telling you to do this and that. A lot of these niggas is Freemasons. A lot of these niggas is deviants. A lot of these niggas is low-key rapists and scammers. And I've been getting a lot of calls. People been sending me info. A lot of these niggas get locked up now. Because the cracker's going after these niggas. Same way he going after the fake white ones, he going after the fake black ones too. So you better know what you're talking about. You better know how to explain this. You better know, me and my queen came up going to sweat lodges, bro. Like I'm the first person in the mainstream conscious community back in 2003. I'm at the Shinnecock Powwow. I got a joint on my website right now for Native Blood, live from the Shinnecock Powwow. And I'm there, and I'm showing you that these not only is Moors, and I'm juxtaposing it with the next day Labor Day festival in Brooklyn, and showing you that everybody's wearing the same regalia. But because you calling these ones Indians, and you calling these ones West Indians, they somehow different. But that don't make sense. What's a West Indian? Think about that. A West Indian is a Caribbean, right? Well, what's a Caribbean? The real Caribbeans was who? The Arawaks and the Tainos. And they were part of something called the Lacono Confederation. And they were Moors who ruled the Antilles, because that's what that place was called prior to the white man telling you that you're Caribbean. It was called the Antilles or Antilia. Look at the old septentrional maps. Look at how we used to raise and how we used to basically build the societies from the ground up. These Moors is talking all this Aboriginal shit and all that. How many of y'all know about the great Lord Gainashku? How many of y'all know the story of Hiawatha and Degandawada? How many of y'all even know how that retains itself back to the allegorical story of the tree of life and the burying of the hatchet? How many of y'all ever seen a pipe? How many of y'all know how to actually thread your own war bonnet? How many of y'all ever been to a sweat? So y'all niggas be so how I'm a Moor, if I'm supposed to be Islamic and I'm supposed to have nothing to do with this, how I know about all this shit then? Because I know about all the ancient mosques that is all up and down so-called the Midwest, from Wyoming all the way to California, all the way through Nevada and all that. Get the book Saga Amorrica by Barry Fell, and he'll tell you, the white man, let the white man tell you that you had mosques that was here before and at the same time as the so-called pyramids was built. This is the white man telling you this. But what your black brother telling you? Oh, well, you know, you was a slave from Africa, and, you know, you got to get your roots back. But how come they don't go to the Ethiopian? How come they don't go to the Haitian and tell him that he's really from Africa and he should go back there? How come they don't go to the dark-skinned Honduran or the dark-skinned Belizean or the dark-skinned Panamanian and tell them that they really from Africa, they not Panamanian, they should go back to Africa, get they from? The only people they tell that shit to is y'all. Because y'all the only people stupid enough to absorb it like it's the truth. This is the reason why they want you to diss your country, but then everybody coming over here and receiving the benefits for it. There's a reason, because that's how it's always been. But y'all, my people, are so beautiful, but yet so inundated with wasting time on banging on each other, when the real culprit is everybody else that ain't us. Because everybody else is walking on eggshells, hoping that you don't really connect this thing back together with people like me and other Moors and other so-called American Indian type people out there that's trying to really put you onto it.
A lot of people are rather attack a Moor than go at a Native American mestizo. What's up with that, man?
Because they fear the white man. When I walk around these mestizos, I've gone to their powwows deep with Moors, and they have bowed. They have kissed my ring, Moor. They've done it, and I ain't even force them. I'm just coming in, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality. Just like this. Got Moors with feathers on, Moors with turbans and all of that, and we coming with the real. Because we're the big buffalo people. I'm your big brother. I'm the first one in the sacred hoop, nigga, and you know it. But if you don't know it, they won't play on your ignorance. But they don't play that with us. They give it all up. Matter of fact, a Moor that I built with back in the days, the president of Mexico just made this nigga the emperor out there. Look it up. And he wearing a maroon fez and a black fez. And he's standing there with the president of Mexico like this. And they don't recognize him as the emperor. You see what I'm saying? But he's pledged allegiance to the Moorish Empire. So that's like my brother. You understand? So we're on the same level. Whereas if you anything under that, you under that. Because, again, man, you ain't never heard of no African trying to come to America to find out where they people got sold to. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard a story about that? Have you ever read a book about that? Have you ever seen a movie about that? The only movie I ever saw with that was recently, and that was with Chadwick Boseman, and they murked him, and that was Message to the King. But his sister was from there. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about
when he came back. Yeah, that was a good movie.
If I come and take your mama right now, if I come and kidnap your mama right now and sell her to slave in Africa, what you gonna do? You gonna go to Africa to try to get her, right? Right?
That's a fact.
So you mean to tell me, according to these black Negro scholars, over 250,000 of us, or how many numbers, you know these numbers be going up every year, however many millions of us was kidnapped over here, not one of them niggas from over there came over here checking? But we the ones always trying to go over there and find out. They running game on y'all niggas, man. They running game on you. And y'all support
yeah, for my
because Chris getting a passport, or one of these other devil worshippers, baby eaters, getting a passport or some shit from some African country, and you think you're gonna have the same effect? All because you scared to fight and stand up for your rights that you know that you got here. But then these same niggas
Hey,
gonna
that's
talk
a
about
fact.
who's real and who not.
And
That's why
they dumb us down with on a lot of levels. But I want to get into this one question. And hey, this a fire bill. We got like 200 and some people in here. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Sure, it's on all your social media outlets, and make sure y'all donate to the brother Duke Cash App. If you want to say that for the viewers one more time, loud and clear for them, so they can get that in there. Duke, if you want to say that for them one more time, your Cash App, say it loud for them so they can get that.
if you go to Islam, I appreciate that more. If you go to Cash App and do the money sign, capital DS418. That's money sign, capital DS418. I appreciate any support that I get, because when you speak in heavy truth and you really just about it and you're not into all of the bells and whistles that these fake people trying to give you, nobody want to hear that, man. As much as our people want to be free, they want to be free, but they want to still be able to like keep Jesus and shit. They want to be free, but they want to still go with the pale Arabs and make salat with them every 5 minutes and all of that. I'm not saying we can't be brotherhood with everybody, but why we always trying to get cool with everybody before we cool with each other, man? I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being the only more in ciphers, and then I'm standing up doing what I gotta do. Then when a melanated person do come in, that's not a moral, and they around white people, I gotta see this nigga basically step and fetch it with these people. And they not, and I'm watching these white people make the notation, the difference. They know the difference. They know who believe and who not. They know who believe them and who don't. They look at you and know, because you don't got that fear in you. And that's what your nationality is supposed to give you. Freedom. I don't have to worry about my son ever believing that he was a slave from Africa. You understand? I don't ever. Nice. Don't drop it, please.
That's real. Hey.
So I don't have to worry about him teaching that to my grandson. And I don't have to worry about my grandson teaching that to his. So I don't already switched up my bloodline already. So that's already. So I'm doing my part. At the same time, I'm not here to convert nobody to nothing. At the same time, because a lot of the niggas that's selling us out now was the same niggas selling us out back then. You understand? A lot of the same agents that they was using in COINTELPRO back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, these are the same niggas that's doing it now. And they can't afford to get new people. They got to recycle generational agents on you. So again, as great as Marcus Garvey was, he was still cool with Walter Pletler, and now it seemed like they was working together to denationalize a lot of these Moors, so that way they could be listed as Negroes, so that way they could fall under the Negro Act, which was really the Indian Act, which then took them into the Civil Rights Act, right? Which then took them away from national identity altogether. So then when you want to drop down and say, no, this is what we locked them up.
Let me
out of all the niggas that talk about Garvey Act, Garvey about nationality. And who held Garvey down when he was locked up? The Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And who put money on his books when he was locked up? The Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And who gave jobs and nationality and corrected all of the fake shit that Garvey told them niggas? Noble Jew Ali. Because that's where all the Garveyites went after they locked them up. They went into the original Moor Science Temple. Then the dirty Moors came and then stopped that. And then the movement had to be reorganized again. Then it got reorganized again from 1938, right? From 28, it had basically went into remission. So from 28 to 33, that was the time the prophet said, if you don't do what I told you to do, y'all gonna go bankrupt. And they did. Then from 1938, that's when they reorganized the incorporated temples to bring them into the new bankruptcy. You see what I'm saying? And then use them as a means to basically become low-key Freemasonic lodges. You see what I'm saying? Up until the prophesied time that the prophet said that we would come into our own, and the new Moors would come and tell the old Moors to go into the back. The same thing happened with the so-called Indians who knew they was Moors. The same thing happened with the Shriners and the Freemasons and the Kemetites and the Egypt dudes and all of that. Because all of that Afrocentric shit was established by two white men. Look it up. The whole slavery shit was established by a book that was written by a white man called The Myth of a Negro Past. And the two archaeologists of Afrocentricity was Arthur, who was it? Melville Hershkowitz and Stephen Melville and Hershkowitz. These are the fathers of Afrocentricity. Look it up. So all these Afrocentric niggas that started talking all this Pan-African shit, remember, Pan mean the devil. That's what you gotta understand. You're dealing with a wordsmith. You're dealing with witches and warlocks. So everything has a double meaning, man. You want to be a Pan-Africanist. When Patrice Lumumba started to come out and what was really down with that Pan-African shit, look what they did to him. They literally liquefied his body and drank it like they did to Nat Turner. One of his descendants just got his tooth back that they found in some old white man house. The old white man just gave back Patrice Lumumba's tooth. Look it up. See, when you have no people, when you have no real infrastructure, no government, you got to depend on the kindness of strangers. And everybody has to kill us. I don't know if you know, but that's what's up. So when you have a nationality, that protects you from demonic possession. Because I don't eat that. So I don't worry about being poisoned and shit because I don't drink around certain people. I don't eat around certain people. You know what I'm saying? I don't smoke with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, nobody has ever even seen me do any of that. Other than a hookah. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody that I know really know who I know like that. Because all real Moors link up. And now it's point now where, like I said, all these dudes is agents. A lot of these dudes that's doing these Aboriginal talks and stuff, these niggas is like truck drivers and shit. Like they not what you think they are. And they'll have you out here jumping off the ledge, calling yourself this and that. And like I said, a basic native can ask you, well, what do you think of, tell me your interpretation of the story of Hiawatha and Degadawada. Now you look stupid. Because most of y'all probably never even heard of that until I mentioned it in the show. But how many Aboriginal DVDs and tapes you don't watch with these niggas telling you about shit and they ain't tell you that basic shit? Think about what else they not telling you, man. Stop hating on the Moors. The Moors ain't your problem. The Moors is the solution. But even a lot of the Moors is crazy. I be seeing these Moors out here. I saw this one Moor was going crazy on me one time on Facebook or whatever. I look now, this nigga's an ADOS. This nigga flying an ADOS flag like that's something real. Like that bugging.
Hey.
So what is it?
Hey, listen. Hey, Ducateers, we keep it real, man. There's a lot of Moors that talk some bullshit that's dirty Moors and some that leave the foundation of what it was. And who was you talking about, man? We can call out name. You talking about Lord Albert, man?
Well, I ain't here for that. I ain't here for that. You could go on Facebook and see for yourself. Do this, y'all listeners, right? Go back as far as you can and do your own research. Look at these guys from the first stuff they start talking about to where they are now, and then do the same thing with me. And we see who's more consistent. I've been saying the same thing from before the internet, before I even knew about YouTube. I'm out here. You understand? I was scammed and done dirty by dirty Moors too, right? But you know what? That has nothing to do with Moorish science. That has to do with the weak character of an individual. And I'm not going to let an individual stop me going and getting my birthright. You understand? I ain't going to let, because I was scammed or because I was done dirty by somebody, turn me off. That's like you getting a meal and because you had a bad apple one day, you ain't never going to eat apples again. That's crazy. But that's what black folk do. But I ain't black, man. And I can tell. I'll eat the meat, spit out the bone. You take the best part for yourself and don't care about the poor part. What I do, though, individually, is that when I saw these people later, when I got a greater understanding of whatever, I approached them like men, personally, and told them how out here doing that no more. Not like I'm some big shot or I'm some big man or I'm gonna do something to them like that. No, on the strength of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality. I'm my brother's keeper. So if you tripping, I gotta let you know, because the next more you do that to might cut off the fucking head. Understand? So it's my job to let you know that you're in error. Just like somebody else's job to let me know if I'm in error. This is not about me. It's not about you. This is about what we're going to do to get out of this situation and get what is being held from us. But we can't do it if we're constantly at odds, calling each other names, disrespecting each other, giving respect to every other race of people but ourselves, and then expecting other strangers to know what we're supposed to do for ourselves better than us. You understand there's Moors out here still trying to vote. We ain't supposed to be voting as Moors. We're supposed to be picking the president personally. We're supposed to be electing. Don't become a voter. Don't register to vote. Register your temple as an extension of the electoral college. The Moors was getting black men and women elected into positions of power when Negroes couldn't even read or go to white schools in the 20s, my dude. This is how much power we had, or we got. Elijah Muhammad never said to go vote. You understand? Clarence 13X didn't tell you to go out there and vote. Marcus Garvey didn't tell you to go vote. He said start your own. But all these niggas want to put you right back in slavery because they can't imagine a world where they have to think for themselves, where they have to provide for themselves, where they have to create the means of production and feed entire civilizations. Y'all niggas don't want to do that no more. You used to this white man doing that for you. So let's stop. So get out of the way of the people that are, man. Some of these niggas is out here, they became into this just so that way they famous. Just so that way they could be next to a rapper. Like real talk, more. Real talk. This is what they doing. But again, just because
they clout chasing.
Just because he's an Indian don't mean he's not dirty. Just because he's a Kemite don't mean he's not dirty. Just because he's melanated don't mean he's not dirty. I'm not talking about that. You're talking about people mistake the shortcomings of individuals representing an organization and not the true roots and the powers of the organizations. Because niggas throw the baby out with the bathwater because niggas is always waiting for the white man to come and shut down what they doing. Meanwhile, Moors and free people get shit done. We don't wait for nobody. Facts. So if you're out here trying to be an Indian, you better make sure that you know what you're talking about with that. Because eventually, I'm telling you, there's a glass ceiling on that. Them people in Oklahoma, that whole state back and all of that, them so-called Indians, they're using the statutes that are applied to our people when they were so-called Indians, i.e. Moors, of the Creek, Muskogee, and all of that. And if you actually have that proven in your DNA, do you know that you can go there and live there for free? But you better have a constituency. You better have some other people that look like you there, so that way you can have your community of so-called natives that look like you. You understand? Because best believe the white man don't need them. You can do that in any state that we at. You understand? It's real simple. But the problem, again, is niggas don't got heart. And niggas want to be this in the internet. They want to be all of this in the internet, man. Nah, man. It don't work like that. It's not in my 7 years of experience. Like I said, more, I travel the world like this. Not only with the war bonnet on, but with the fez, the turban, the burnous, the shamag, any Moorish habit, I wear on the plane, you know what I'm saying, in business meetings, so they always know who and what they dealing with. And it'd be a total level of this, it'd be a total another level of conversation more. You know what I'm saying? I've had pilots, I've been in the joint, and the pilot from the plane come out, welcome me to the cockpit. Welcome me to the cockpit, boy, like, gave me the whole, everything. Bows and shit. You know what I'm saying? And the white people, and then, you know, I'm in first class, so they looking like, who is this thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on?
Right. that shit scare them a little bit.
Or the small delegation of the Moors in our Sultanate that I travel with to do this type of work with or whatever. I want us to be able to buy out the plane, nigga. Like, we all coming deep. Y'all niggas want to do a festival and you want to have these powwows and it's y'all with y'all little bands and all that. Let's all go. Let's all go to the Lakota. Let's all go out there as Moors, as American so-called Indians or whatever, and be there. And let's see if they keep that same level of energy when we there. But they don't want to do it. They rather just do Juve. You know what I'm saying? They rather do Carnival. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to do like little shit. They want to look like it, but they don't want to be it every day. My mother used to say, dress for the job you want. So if the white man is running down the street and he got a gun and he looking for a nigga in a red cap, and he see me with a red fez and see this brother right in a Cardinals cap, guess which one he gonna take? Guess which one you gonna take? You're gonna take the brother in the Cardinals cap because that brother is showing that he's on the team. You see? Because he's playing the game. He got the game hat on, right? Well, I'm not in the game. I'm in the empire. So I gotta dress like I'm in the empire all the time. So these niggas always know not to even come to me. Because I'm under the old customary law where these crackers, these slabs, these broke down Negroes would have to cross the street before they even seen me and my queen. Because if they didn't, they'd have to bow and give me their head to cut off. So they could come back in the next life and be better. Y'all ain't ready to go back to that type of life. Because y'all too inundated now. They done made y'all too soft. They've made all of the men gay. They done made all of those want to have effeminate men as mates and shit, so that way nobody stand up and speak on their voice. So that way when they rape your little son or rape your little daughter, it's a part of the ritual that you've been a part of, so you don't really take it like it's serious. Nah, that's not the world that we're going into right now. The world that we're going into is you have to be what you say that you are. Because if you're not, you out of here. Remember that KRS-One song? You out of here. You out of here.
Right.
Look at everybody that's been outed since 2020 started. Look at what's happening. Nobody's safe. Whether you Aboriginal, Moorish, Egyptian, Christian, it don't matter. If you want some bullshit, it's over for you. You are at a level of the game now where they trying to make the Stallion as female empowerment music. And black females is the ones that's trying to co-sign that. You understand? You are in the level of the game now where celebrities are scamming regular people for $150, $200 to do verses and then block the person and send them the money after. Well-known celebrities, man. Rappers. They all broke. You got niggas like Fat Joe infomercials now about how to make residual income. You know what that is? That's pyramid scheme shit. All these niggas broke. All these niggas is Freemason. All these niggas is satanic. All of them is witches and warlocks, and this is who you want to emulate. Meanwhile, people like Jaheim is out here banging on them, and they trying to say he crazy. He out here Aboriginal Moorish all day. Banging on him, going crazy. Big up to Jaheim because he gave me a shout out. Big up to B.O.B. He gave me a shout out one time too. And he tried to go in on him. But there is the Moors are Aboriginal to every continent on the planet. You understand? However, when I say Moor, I'm speaking of someone with a melanated constitution. You understand? But to be Moorish or Moorish now, that's different. That's somebody that is now declaring who they are and properly putting their pride, which is the tribal name, and their clan name together. Because the pride or the tribe represents the patriarchal energy of your family. The clan is the matriarchal aspect of your family. So your mother brings you your royalty. Your father gives you your nobility. You understand? That's why the man and the woman is God. When you got these blacks trying to make one over the other, those are Lutherans. Those are Roman
Right.
Freemasons trying to get
Hey,
right hand over.
I got a question for you while we talking. How did the Madrid earthquake or the Great Earthquake of 1811 play into these people reconstructing history?
The New Madrid earthquake was never even spoken of in mainstream history because it was too conducive to them winning and destroying what was left of the original republic between 1812 and 1871. So everything that we see as the Civil War and the race riots and all of that was already happening. The very first, get a book called The Islamic Slave Revolts in Baha'i and Brazil. Get that book. And in that book, you'll read about the fact that the original revolution, the original American Revolution, revolution started in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 1511 amongst the Moors who were rebelling against the so-called French who were taking jurisdiction of Louisiana and were at odds with them and trying to enslave them by not honoring the surrender of Grenada. And that war carried on. One of the founders of people who fought in that war was a Moor named Muhammad ibn Said. That guy is Frederick Douglass's grandfather. Another Moor named Sanbu Fulbe was the father of Denmark Vesey, another Muslim. If you notice, a lot of the original Moorish subjects, a lot in the Americas, a lot of them had English names. Because with the Treaty of Peace of Friendship in 1787, you had an influx of a bunch of Europeans that came over here. And they did not want to be under the jurisdiction of the brute Moors. So they switched their allegiance, took their Shahada, and became part of the Moorish Empire, Greater Moorish Empire. That's why,
crazy.
like I said, all of these peoples on both sides of the fall. And we are consolidated today and have ability to unify it, you see? But we're not doing that because we're still caught up in tribalism and sectarianism. Because the people that are giving us these, stepping up as leaders to this thing are all degenerates. Look at what happened to Kingface. Look at that. But before that, there was a guy named DJ Kidd out here in Florida that slept with over 700 black women and gave them all AIDS. You understand? And we got pictures of this dude, DJ Kidd, just like Kingface just like Kingface with the Rickens. We got pictures of him with Hillary Clinton, Obama, Bill Clinton. You see? Because
that's crazy. I got another question.
These freemen, yeah, God, they out us all. They wake up. So again, man, the Moors ain't really a problem. They have their own problem. But don't let an ignorant individual, don't let a godless individual deter you away from the information that you're supposed to really get. Because there are real people out here doing real shit, man. But at the same token, you can't blame me because I'm a Moor and because this other guy did you wrong. Then when my name come up because I'm associated with the now I'm whack. The only children do that. White people don't do that. White people could have serial killer in their family. You understand? And still sit down and have dinner with the nigga. Still go visit the nigga and all that. You understand? It has nothing to do with the knowledge. And this is your birthright I'm talking to you about. That's what's cool about the Lovecraft TV show. But the other side of that is whack, is that they are also doing their little bullshit, throwing the gay stuff in there with you, and also trying to make it seem like because you got hit in your head and you forgot, you need the white people to bring you back into balance and give you back the true knowledge. But when you really look at the show, all of the power is in them, internally in the black man, in the black woman. That all they got to do is free up and let the white people go. Not just physically, but out of their mind. But when I say white, I'm not saying WHITE, because that's us. I'm speaking of the WIGE whites from Europa, who are the creatures created for punishment, who are phantasms, who are creatures of law, who are not real. That's the definition of a white. So again, all they did was flip it. That's why Reconstruction was so important. But they had to wait until time was right. So when the earthquake started in 1811, it disrupted everything along the 33rd parallel, where all of the empire was at. So now all of the miscreants, people that wasn't satisfied, they now could wage their campaigns. And while they was waging these campaigns, what the white civil servants was doing was actually writing out fake battles that they had with these people that never happened, and then enshrining them in the Library of Congress as if they did. You see? And then created more and more circumstances. So by the time we get up to the so-called Civil War, all bets is off. And we are just going ham on everybody. We banging on all of them. Because the war between the North and the South was not about the geographic location, North and South. It was about the war between the Northern and the Southern Freemasonic jurisdiction, the war between the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, the same war that's happening right now between the Democrats and the Republicans. Only the Democrats is the Brotherhood of Death, the Republicans is the Brotherhood of the Eagle. And one represents the Scottish Rite, the other represents the York Rite. All these niggas is Freemasons, which means they're all liars, they're all actors, they're all concealing the truth of your birthright. They don't give a damn if you were Indian or Moor or Egyptian or Negro or Iqua. They don't care. Anything that is dealing with you, they want to conceal it. So if you're hungry, they're gonna starve you. If you starving, they're gonna feed you to death. You want to go to sleep, they're gonna keep you up. You want to stay up, they're gonna put you to sleep. You don't want to get wet, they're gonna keep you dry. You don't want to be dry, they're gonna keep you wet. It's always the opposite, because through the opposition is what allows them to function. Because their model is what? Order out of chaos. Ordo Templia Orientalis. So all musicians, all actors, all pundits on YouTube, most of these niggas, they're all down with it. So stop expecting these people just because you see a nigga wearing a fez in a Beyonce video. Stop acting like Beyonce wearing a damn fez, man. Stop giving these niggas so much energy over you, bro. Stop fattening up and giving them more celebrities so that way they can sacrifice them to you. That's what they doing. Because that's what they've been doing. But it ain't no white people the way that you think. It's niggas using white people as decoys for their bullshit, and white folk going along with it. I anchored this to the relationship between Carl Candy and Steven in Django. That is the relationship between the white and the black Mason. And that is what's running the White House, because that was the White House they was in, remember? In the movie.
Right.
So I'm telling you, it's all legit. Half these niggas talking to you about original this, and that. These niggas are straight U.S. citizens. Straight. They just making money off of you. Same thing with the Moors, man. You got these grand sheiks that have been out here almost 80, 20 plus years, 40 years. What have they done? They doing shit now. Because people like me and other Moors out here on their behind. Put fire under their asses. Like, no, nigga, all of this stuff, keeping civics from the people and all of that, that can't happen. Because the prophet wanted us civically literate. He wanted us to know how to speak law. He said, when you speak in a mild-mannered term to those who know law, and speak in that tone, you will always receive a favorable reply. So that means he wants us to know what we talk about. So when these sheiks tell you that they don't want you to deal with no law and you don't need to know about that, anybody tell you that you don't need to know, when they open shit like that up, start using words like that, you don't need to know, you don't have to read that, they try to put you back in slavery. Read everything. Read everything. Support your intuition.
So listen though, I got a question. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, brother. When we dealing with this history and we looking at all this, and we know that they lied about this, they fabricated this, they hiding this. What's up with the construction and creating the timeline in the 1500s or nothing past the 1500s?
You broke up the last part. What'd you say?
What about them
With the 1500s?
reconstruction? What about them reconstructing or creating the creation of the timeline from the 1500s?
Well, in 1581 to 1582, the dirty Moors of the Catholic Roman Curia established what was called the Intersissimus. Y'all should look that up. The Intersissimus was a satanic spell that basically said that they were not going to recognize anything that happened within the 10 days to 10 years before that date. So that means nothing happened. That all of the history in the Roman Curia actually began with this Intersissimus in 1581. You understand? So that was the first element of them wiping history out for you. And then they set up a series of papal bulls to be able to systematically break down the Moorish Empire. Because technically the Vatican was under the Moorish Empire, still is. But the stipulation was that they would be basically collectors on behalf of it. So that way they could collect money for the Europeans that was trying to buy their noble titles back from us, the Moors. But if Moors fell and stopped being Moors, then they would basically violate their ancient covenant with Allah, which then put them under the jurisdiction of the Vatican, you see, as traitors to be prosecuted. So the goal then became to get as many Moors to denationalize, to become baptized, to do whatever is possible, to a point then which then they can just wholesale start kidnapping them and then taking their estates and holding it in trust under the Vatican joint, while at the same time protecting what was left of the Moorish Empire from these converts that had betrayed it. And because this was black people doing this to so-called black people, Christopher Colon was melanated, okay? There was no Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus is a spell. That is a spell inundated by warlocks of the Roman Curia to juxtapose what really happened. The whole colonial system comes from the Colon family, of which Cristobal was the patriarch. You understand? So when we talk about Columbus, that is actually an allegory to the goddess Columbia. That's why they created a government that was different than the American government called the District of Columbia. Because Columbia is the goddess who is actually a man with the penis cut off.
God
That's
damn.
why every movie that you've ever seen has had Columbia in the beginning of it, right? Holding a torch above her head, right? The torch represents the cut off penis. You understand? You were looking at a trans when you're looking at Columbia. That's a trans god, like Attis.
That's
the god that these Freemasons is worshiping.
That's crazy. Can you?
Government. That's why they run all of their stuff through the Freemasonry, because that's the government that set up the coup d'etat after the New Madrid earthquake, all up until 1871, and then found a way to bleach out all of the black people that was running the government up until the late 1900s. And to celebrate that, them coming into power, they created a TV show called Birth of a Nation, in which the KKK was running up on black. Look at that movie close. There's a scene in there where they grab up a white man that's dressed as a black man, and he's wearing a fez. And they take the fez off him and string him up. You see? because the KKK, this how deep they know your ancient history. For y'all that's the Aboriginal and the ancient Mesoamerican cultures and stuff, right? There's a trickster god called Kukulkan. Kukulkan, Kukulkan, right? So Kukulan, Kukulkan. Kukulkan is the trickster that basically the whites basically understood that they could use as a means to garner control of people. So when they established the Ku Klux Klan, you see, Ku Klux Klan is the Latinist version of Kukulkan. You understand? The same way the KKK dress in the pointy hats and stuff, and then we look at the order of the Negroes in Seville, Spain. They the same thing, right? Because that was what the Moors were forced to wear that converted to Christianity and wanted to stay in Spain over there. They forced them to have to come out and praise the cross. So the way that they found around it was by wearing these dunce caps to hide their faces, so they wouldn't be embarrassed, so people would know that they actually went against Allah. So even the things that they use to terrorize you as a melanated man and woman on earth come from you. Sambo, they used to call you a Sambo. Sambo mean God. Nigga mean God, right? So much they do to us to make us think that we something else. But the separation is in the mind of the original man in America. When they finally just get over the fact that they really are Moors and that nobody was doing nothing really like that up until us, when we took the world out of the dark ages, and then before that, we were the ones that was always around the world when we was either Phoenicians, when we was Carthaginians, when we was Etruscans, when we was Levantines, when we was ancient Incans, when we was ancient Peruvians, when we was ancient Mayans, when we was ancient Phrygians, when we was ancient Parthians, when we was ancient Elamites, we was ancient Tatarians, we was ancient Thracians, Dracians, Macedonians. This is all us, and half of the shit happened over here. But again, because they create myth, because they got a bunch of black and white Freemasons that's been working together since the fall of the New Madrid earthquake, since they've been remaking and coup d'etat history on y'all niggas, y'all think that everything they tell you is true. And all they gotta do is put it in a movie, put it on a song, put it on a cereal box. Y'all will eat it, pour milk on it, whatever. So all I'm saying now, brothers and sisters, if they ain't woke, if they not awake now, stop wasting your time, man. Stop wasting your time with people that's your age. Our responsibility right now, our generation, my generation is done.
Can I ask you another question, brother?
Go ahead, man.
What about the two constitutions? 1789 and 1870. What's up with that?
Say that again.
The two constitutions. Matter of fact, I want to ask you this question. Before I get into this, hold on, I'm gonna ask you the question. Everybody thumb up the video. Everybody heard thumb up the video, share it on all your social media outlets. For those that do want to donate, moderators, drop that link in there so people can donate to Duke, and that's his cash app, you guys. Make sure y'all drop that link. After these questions, would you mind opening up the lines and taking some questions? It's up to you, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to really hear you, but it's like really going in and out.
Okay. I don't know what that. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. Hold on. Okay. After this, after I ask you these next couple questions, do you mind opening up the phone line to take questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine.
Okay,
so, what about the two constitutions? The two constitutions. One in 1789 and one in 1870.
As Moorish Americans or as Moors, you occupy two positions. On the American side, you are a pre-eminent citizen because your people are the ones from the preamble to the 7th articles mentioned in the original Constitution, right? But the original Constitution, what we see as a Constitution, was the progression of an idea that wasn't fulfilled until the Organic Constitution of 1787 and then the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787. That's why they both happened in the same year. And both of them was signed here in America. It's just that back then, Morocco, Marrakesh was in what we call Philadelphia, right? So they met on the Delaware River, on the banks of the Delaware River, to sign the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States, thereby proving Morocco was already here, because there was no Morocco in North Africa in 1786, period. That place was an extension of the empire we established from over here, from ancient days, from the times of Carthage and Hannibal and all of that, okay? So on one hand, you represent that as an American, as a so-called American Indian, because their ancestors was here by. Then on the Moorish side, now, you are now internationally protected under the imperial treaties that all those other treaties are associated with, because we are all subjects of, okay? So as subjects of, we are not under anybody. When you're subject to, you are. Okay? So we're subjects of the empire.
You gonna have to mute. I don't know what happened. Give me a quick second, y'all. While you unmute yourself and brush that button. Video. We're gonna get ready to callers or questions come in. We're gonna have to unmute yourself, brother Duke. Tears. Unmute yourself. There you go. All right, peace, love, and light. We back.
Okay, great. So yeah, that's really it. But in context though, it started with it's really the Articles of Association, the Articles of Confederation, Bill of Rights, the Constitution of the United States, the General Congress assembled 1787, and then the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1787. All of that is what makes the United States of America General Congress assembled what it is. You understand? So the Constitution is just one thing. In certain circles, it's called the Fourfold Republic, but they don't tell you about that. That goes into the history of American jurisprudence, and they don't teach jurisprudence in America anymore. Only the Moors do that. So that's why we got to have our own universities and all of that again to really get back into what it's like to actually own things again. Because everybody is under a allodial title, under fictitious titles, so nobody owns nothing except Moors. Because we're the only ones that are declared to do business in our proper person, in our proper name, not the name created by somebody else. So if a fake black scholar says, oh, well, Moor, that just means black in Greek, he's an idiot. You know why? Because just because that's what it means in Greek, that means that that's what the people they call Greek called Moors. But that's not what the meaning that the Moors called themselves. You see what I'm saying? So why would
Right.
you use a white term to define me when you're supposed to be black and supposed to be conscious? You see how they tell on themselves? You got to be swift to peep that, though, and call them out. Because when they say that this is what a Greek word, first of all, they wasn't even Greek. That was a word created during the so-called Reconstruction, right? That place was actually either Macedonia, Ionia, Dorian, Corinthia. You see? Call it what it naturally, the real name of it is, and then now you can be it. But if you're calling it what the conqueror called it, then you're part of the problem. Period. So it's the same thing with everything else. Like if they say that more means, again, black in Greek, this in English, or this, why are you trying to use all these other nationalities to describe when I could just tell you what it means in my nationality? Because out of all the nationalities, I'm the only one using that to describe me. So why are you going to them to ask to give me definitions of what they say I am? That means you're an agent. That means you're a white supremacist. That means you're trying to use reconstructional history to identify me with to make you feel more comfortable about being a nigga with no nationality. See what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And so I hope everybody out there is paying attention. I hope everybody enjoyed this bill. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, man. Make sure y'all show some donations, show some love for the content that the brother bringing in his time, especially. I'm gonna get ready to put the link in the chat, so we can get ready to get some few questions in here, and we can let the brother finish. I don't want to hold him too much of his time. This was definitely a powerful bill. Definitely got a lot of information now. I put the link in there. We're gonna take one question at a time. I'm gonna let you on to ask your question, and then I'm gonna let you off the panel so you can hear it in the on the YouTube or in the back. So let's get it, y'all. I got a few. I put the link in there. I'll let you know as soon as somebody pop up, brother. I got you. So as we wait, let's take a quick 30-second break. Let's take a quick 30-second break. Let's. Peace, 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 peace. We are back. We are back. We got the brother Duke in the building. Just dropped a lot of fire information. He is being a fire at build, y'all. He has been fire when it came to this information. He's been direct. He even gave y'all the long way around when breaking it down, making sure it's clear to you guys from with his research. So make sure y'all thumb up the video. I got a couple people in the back right now. I'm gonna let y'all all on one at a time. The first person I'm gonna let on is going to be Black Wolf. Black Wolf, I'm gonna let you ask your question. I'm gonna put you back in the back, brother. Peace, Black Wolf. How you, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How you feeling, man? Can you hear me, brother?
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace.
How you doing? Aseer Thee Duke. How you doing, my brother? Hey, I had been asking this question for a minute, brother. I wanted to know how long have the Moors been in America, and who are originally are the Moors? Like who are they? Because I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about Moors, the Moors Empire. We've been talking about the Indians. We've been talking about the Olmecs. We've been talking about the Mayans. And all these people here. You know what I'm saying?
Try to make your question short. Try to compress your question so he can answer it short. What's your question again? One more time.
How long have the Moors been in America, and who originally are the Moors? Who are the Moors, and where did the Moors come from?
All right, I thank you, brother. You about to answer that question. You can hear that right here from the back. I appreciate you, brother Black Wolf. Shout out to the brother Black Wolf.
Yeah, I'm sorry. can't hear the question. That was too broken up.
The question was, he said, the question was that he said was, how long have the Moors been in America, and who exactly are the Moors? That's the brother Black Wolf question.
Black Wolf. The Nation of Islam has no birth record, meaning those who, again, follow through with this type of culture, we never dated ourselves. There is no time that you can date. What you do, the first recorded, like, let's say, modern era birth of a Moor, like on paper, the first recorded birth in the European type of system was done in Delmarva, when a Moor was listed as being born in whatever the colony or whatever the thing was there. But Moors, again, was just another name for the original people who descended from those high priests of Anu, meaning those high priests. So we Moors are the ones that carry that light through every civilization and every epoch of time.
Hey, so I hope you heard that. I hope you heard the answer to that, brother Black Wolf.
That's so. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Shout out to the brother Black Wolf. We got the brother PNF on the panel. Shout out to the brother PNF, People in Folks Nation. What's your question for the brother Duke and Tears? Peace to you, brother.
Yeah, peace out. Appreciate it. What's up, Duke and Tears, man? Appreciate the shout out, man, and the help that you give the community. But I want to keep my information based off the Islamic comments you made earlier. You said that like words like Apache and other little Native American names is Islamic. You know, we can disagree to agree and all of that. I don't want to, pour no salt, but I don't think that's an Islamic word. I don't think Islam is a language.
Hey, brother PNL, no disrespect. I don't think he can hear you. I don't think he can hear you, but I want to make sure we clear. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, y'all. What is your question, brother PNF? Just so we clear. Just for the.
I apologize for that, man. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, brother. Loud and clear.
All right, yeah, my bad. Shout out to Aseer, man. You shouted me out a long time ago. You're a good brother, man. But I wanted to keep it the question simple because it could be a few questions. You mentioned that Apache was a Islamic word. On that, I disagree because I don't believe Islam is a language. I believe Apache come from the Pashas, which is actually from the Hittites, and the Rajas, so we call Maharaja, or the so-called Indian. But anyway, this is the question. I see it, because I know you fond of the so-called Moors in the Mediterranean and 7-Eleven. Can you please tell me or answer the question? Where is the Umayyad Caliphate from?
All right.
I don't know what you're saying. I can't
say it one more time, brother PNF. One more time.
Man. It was very critical. It was very critical for him to hear me, man. It was very critical. So I need to repeat that, brother. If you don't mind, AP, this is very important. Can you hear me?
I don't think he can hear you, so that's why I'm trying to repeat it for him. So what was the question part so I can repeat that for him, brother? He'll be able to catch it out on the backspin.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, just ask the brother, man, where exactly is the Umayyad Caliphate from? Just ask him that for me.
Where is the Umayyad Caliphate from? Right. Okay, that's the question. I appreciate that, brother PNF. You can hear your question from the back. We got a couple more people in the back. Shout out to the people back there waiting. Where is the Umayyad Caliphate from? I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear any of that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I made a distinction. The religion of Islam that was created blah, 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 by these Jesuits or whoever else, at the rise of us expanding the global again from the original life culture that we was basically practicing as high priests of Anu, which is why you can find Aleph, Lam, Lam, Ham, which is Allah, like La ilaha illallah illallah on the tablet. I showed that on like 2 videos YouTube that I got there right now, where the Western African in turban and fez is showing y'all and saying, no, this existed here way before. There was a semblance of that when they were still using the Kaaba stone and going around it on the fake veneration to the idols. They was dealing with Allah way back then as Moors. The people that's doing that were also in Kemet, so-called Egypt culture, were also called Mazalem, which then we can basically see the adaptation into Muslim, right? Which then had its corruption later when they created the religion to basically codify all of this into what became Muslims. So again, man, I try to go back to it all. So if Islam means peace, and it never was and was not that. So when it says that Islam is, or the original older than the sun, moon, and stars, I'm not going to give a date. You know what I'm saying? Allah has given a date too. You can't. So I'm not caught up in the religion and all of that. Like, people who deal with that aspect as Muslims can do that as Muslims if they want. Just like they can be Hebrews. They could be, Christians if they want. But when it comes to your nationality, your identity, your history, you got to know the origin of by which that flows. So you know how to stand on that if that's what you want to use as that. Whereas the understand that there is no difference between divinity and science. When you practice in love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality, and those are the exact principles of the great law of Guyana-Ashwa. You see, which was the law of the great Iroquois Confederacy. So you see how it all works together for me. I don't know what y'all niggas doing. Y'all and putting it into different banks and all of that y'all want. All of it really runs together when you allow that dam that you have in your mind to just be broke and stop trying to set trip. Just because the laws had a certain thing popping doesn't necessarily negate your Ananawiya heritage, your Sisisia heritage, which is Black Hawk, or your Muskogean heritage, Muskogee, like, do you hear it? No, y'all don't. Y'all still think out here worshiping corn and rocks and the wind and all of this shit. No, like, the Mayans were scientists. The Aztec scientists. The Salagi was scientists. The Anasazi and the Hopi was scientists. These niggas was not out here worshiping no mystery god. And I just told you the oldest rocks that they found on the planet is over there in Nevada right now. From the Wyoming to Nevada. They said one of the biggest tribes, one of the biggest clans that owned all of the land out there was called the Winnesheeks. Winnesheik. Winnesheek. This is where the term Winnebago come from. The Winnebago. You know what I'm saying? And the Winnesheek. Look up Winnesheek. Look how many things come up with that. How much land the Winnesheeks own. And again, sheik is an Islamic word, but they describe it so-called American Indians. That's what I'm saying. Y'all bugging. Y'all bugging. Y'all bugging. They telling you in the name that this is sheik, but because they're wearing a turban with a buffalo horn coming out of it, you think he ain't no Muslim. You think he worshiping the corn and shit and all of this. No, Moors. We always been here. We always been civilized. There's never been a time that man, because if there wasn't began, then there should be a time that man would end. If you believe in Allah, then you know there was never a time that things did not exist. Because that would mean that Allah did not exists. And when I say Allah, I'm not some mystery God. I'm talking about the higher collective self that we are all aspiring to get into, that we refer to as a supreme being. That is our collective energy manifested through our chakras, from our orchid gland to your pineal organ. That's the Allah I'm talking about, the real one. Shit in some stone, and they got y'all walking around over there to emulate what we was doing here, because Muhammad and them was from over here. The original Mecca is over here. The town Koba, where the Prophet established the first mosque, is over here. The altar is still there, but y'all niggas going over there to make hard. That's what I'm saying. That's why they could tell y'all whatever. They could tell y'all they got y'all from the moon. Y'all be cool with it. And then somebody like me got it and show and prove stuff that I don't improve for over 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Before you come and start coming at me crazy or asking me type of shit, like, go back and watch this shit, because I probably answered your question 10 years ago. Talk, man.
That's true. And some people don't want to do the due diligence of going back and doing and looking at the prior work, because a lot of questions are beginner questions. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go to the beginning to get them answers.
Just so you guys know, I build with the people and I build with the Moors and all that, but I'm not here to prove nothing. The truth need no apology. The truth need no proof. It is what it is. So I don't gotta lie. I don't gotta embellish. I gotta make it up just because I like Moors more than anything else. It doesn't matter. Because when I started my research, I do it like real researchers do. I strive to prove that the Moors were not American natives and were not black and were not so-called Indians and shit like that. And you know what happened? Everything came to prove the opposite of that. That's how you prove if something is right or wrong. You don't go to prove it right. You go to prove it wrong first. And if it cannot be proven wrong, then it's right. But some don't even know. They haven't even taught us how to even research. You don't even know how to do cognitive, so-called, what is it called? Superpositioning, intellectual positioning, going into the super objective of what it is that you're trying to disseminate. Because a lot of people, they'll do shit, but they've never written a thesis. They've written a dissertation. They've never written an essay. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm a nigga that dropped out of school. I dropped out, bro, and went back and got a GED. Then was doing this in real life, and then found a correspondence university out of London that I was able to basically take all my findings over the 5-6 years to send to them to get the dissertation to get my doctorate in jurisprudence. Again, I wasn't gonna go to no damn Yale and pay these niggas no money for that. You bugging? What's up,
right?
Correspondence University, and it was real out of England. I do that. Because
give all them folks that money.
Best experience, man. In these schools, they don't teach you what you're gonna need to be to keep doing shit for them. So until you build a school for yourself and your people speaking your own language, which is what me and my people and the Sultan and them we striving to do now, establish the Punic Latinia as the actual standard language for our people. In our sultancy, having your own language, that's it. Now, we can have whole conversations, print whole other buildings, have whole other societies with everything written in Latin. Like when you go to the Jewish community, you don't know what that shit, what the Hebrews say. But they know. And that's just how we're going to do it. We're going to have little Moroccos all over the place. So all y'all want to be Indians that don't want to come, cool. But every place that we got, we're going to have a key to our society so that way we have our own version, because that's where the Weebelows and the Brownies and the Girl Scouts came from. And the key to our society is what the Braves used to do. It's where we used to train the children who was going to be in what lodge. But this wasn't no Masonic shit. This is the real shit. Whether you was gonna be in the Sparrow Lodge, the Wolf Lodge, the Bear Lodge, the Sparrow Lodge, the Eagle Lodge. These are the rites of passages we're supposed to do. And that we're implementing in our little system.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And that is science. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a graph that show you what native tribe is, what the Moorish clan was, and then what the noble house was that was associated with. For the laymen, because everybody want to break it up. But now when you see it together, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But again, that's why I do classes every Sunday night, Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock. You guys want to holler at me about that? Hit me up at help@hotmail.com. And we go like this. And that way, when it comes to you now wanting to declare, wanting to do that, I don't even bring people into our sultanate, into our body and all of that until they get their individual stuff. We work with people as head console of our sultanate for 6 months straight, making sure that your stuff is done accordingly. So it's not just your nationality, it's your nationality, it's your estate, it's your trust, it's your correction, it's your status, it's the whole thing. It's how that connects to you genetically. It's your genetics, it's the whole thing. But that shit is not something that you can get in a night or download from a website. Because I've been in my position that I can only do it like that. Because there's so many grimy niggas, because so many fake Indians and fake Aboriginals and fake Moors and fake Kemites and fake Christians and fake, like, I'm done, man. And the real reason why it is because of this medium. This medium has done more to destroy the social fabric of human interpersonal relationships than anything other device in history. Even worse than the fucking TV, the internet. However, the internet was always there. Just like the radio was always there. When they turned the radio on, the first thing they heard was somebody saying out numbers. When they first tapped into the internet, they was already getting emails. Before emails even existed. Look it up. Like, this is where we at. They have already lost. We already back in the empire. We done already outlived all these niggas. You just got to catch up to the point you exist in that time frame physically. But it's already happening. All these celebrities done been outed. Everything you thought negative about them niggas is true. But so what? They never do nothing for you. No way they'll make a damn song. Understand? You could do that. Think about it. All these niggas have ever done for you in your whole life is show you a movie and make you a song. Have they ever contributed directly in your life where you actually see, oh wow, thanks Beyonce, I actually got this house. I actually got this thing. No, and you don't know nobody that has either. So you know what that means? That means that it don't happen. That means that the only people that them people benefit is the system. Because they are descended from the same fake royalty and the same fake ones that they use to disinherit by proxy that I spoke of earlier. You don't believe me? There's books you can get on it. There's a book called Time Walker, get that. There's another book, Chosen People of the Caucasus, get that. There's another book called Wars in Barbary, get that. Another book called Golden Trade of the Moors. The Moors before Spain, the Moors after Spain, Othello's Children in the, get these books. Get When Nations Gather, get that book. Great book called The Diplomatic Relations Between the United States and the Barbary Powers by Irwin, get that book. Get Sex and Race, volumes 1 to 3 by J.A. Rogers. And everything I'm saying is not only true, but it's actual fact. No crackers was running nothing until the 1900s. Period. And if they was, there was a black man above that they were paying money to, because half these niggas they told you was white is actually black. That nigga they show you is Booker T. Washington, that's T. Roosevelt. The nigga they show you is Frederick Douglass. That's what's his name? Rutherford B. Hayes. The other nigga they talk about is in Sex and Race. They got a book and they show a guy in there who allegedly brought the first bathhouse to Europe. They call him in the book Sake Dean Mohammed. No, that dude, that was his Muslim name. His real name was King George. That's actually King George. You understand? They want you to think like Queen Charlotte was black, but then all the other Europeans that she was around every day was white. Fuck out of here, man. Does that make sense? So you mean to tell me the nigga they call Edward the Black was Edward, King Edward the Black Prince was white?
Right. Shit don't even make no sense.
They tell you whatever. But when you read these
Yeah,
books,
and then they'll throw out some real images in front of you just to spit in your motherfucking face. And that's how these people do, man. They'll lie to you and then throw you symbolisms of the truth while lying to you. You know what I'm saying? Because they know you don't know shit. They know you don't know your history.
That's what I'm saying, more. I done gave too many. I had to stop. I stopped giving book names. You know why? Because I noticed that once I did that afterwards, these books would go up 110, 200%. When I bought Golden Age of the Moor, it was like $20. That shit is almost like $500 right now. They outpricing books so you can't get your history back. Because niggas like me was out here stealing these books. Back when they used to have black bookstores in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was at, buying my little books, but I would go to the library and straight go ham on them. You understand? Because when I was coming up, you couldn't find no books on no Moors. That was all hidden. They were still made like they was white. Are you okay? They were still making this shit like they was white. So
right.
Now
just like they try to make
books I'm showing improvement 20 years worth of shit. Still got people talking about, well, you know, I'm Indian. I never heard them talk about Moors. That's because I just told you. They told your grandmother if she mentioned anything about Moors or the empire or speaking anything other than English or whatever, they would kill her. But what she did tell you was that you had Indian in your family. She never told you that you had African in your family. That didn't happen until you saw roots. And that plagiarized that book from a book called The African. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
again, Moors, like all this fake Indian, fake Aboriginal shit they on, y'all gonna have to declare your nationality in the end. If ain't nobody tell you, I'll tell you. So when y'all make whatever after this, because last time, not your show, but I didn't know that I did a show with one of these other dudes a while ago, and they had a whole book group show about that show I did with him. Where these was 4 hours talking about the shit I gave him. And then in the end, they wrote me off by saying, oh, well, you know, he mentioned the Bible, so he must be a Christian. This is how sick these niggas are. They sick. I just want to talk to you about religion or becoming a part of any religion, but I first want to talk to you about the divinity within yourself and the ecclesiastical power you have in numbers when it comes to it. But again, I'm a Moor, so I'm not no Indian. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no whatever. I'm a Moor, American, Imperial Moor of the Empire. This is a war bond I'm wearing because I traced my ancestry back, so I know exactly where my people from. My ancient people was from Peru. You know what I'm saying? But then I got Moors aside from the Champa dynasty, as well as Moors from up top here. So again, we from the whole, we indigenous to the earth. How about that?
Facts.
So as a Moor, I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere as a Moor. Just like this. Once I start speaking that truth, they're going to accept me. And when I go to the oldest part of the place, or whatever that is, they're going to show me exactly who looked like me there. And it's happened to every country I done been to. And I done been to a couple, bro. Like, y'all niggas are here reading this shit on books. I'm out here. And I'm heads of state, stuff like that. And they telling me the same thing. When the rest of your people gonna go back to the empire? They waiting for you. Waiting. You see they gave a whole state back, but they hit you with the G and said, oh, that's Indians. So you don't think that you have nothing to do with that as a Moor. But you know what? That whole case, read the case. The shit that they cited in it to get the state back was based upon the tribal bands that was there at the time that are connected again to the annexation of Texas. And I just told you in that annexation of Texas document, they said that the land, the whole land belonged to the ancient Mauritanians, who are who? The ancient Phoenicians, the ancient Canaanites, the ancient Moors, right? The Moorish peoples, which are the modern Mauritanians, and their Indian associates. An associate don't run nothing. You know that, right? Whenever you see an associates, the niggas doing the work. Those are the people at the bottom. And those were the Zambos. Those were the dogs that we read about in certain books when they talk about how the Moors used to treat them that came over here like that. And it wasn't until the Zambos actually proved themselves that they was actually considered that. So again, don't hate us because we beautiful, you know what I'm saying? The Moorish Empire is vast, and we all in it. Whether you like it or not, you could be whatever you want to be in it or not. But don't hate on me because I'm secure in what I know.
Right.
And those that want to deal with that and work with me to do that, then let's do it. Those people that don't. Keep thinking the glass ceiling isn't there by using terms that was created to set up to catch you up and see what happened. Meanwhile, the rest of us is going back to our boss estates and getting it popping.
Hey,
I think that's it.
and that's real, y'all. So listen, I hope y'all listening. This is fire. He came with the fire. He came with the some history. He gave y'all some law. He gave y'all game, and he blended it too. He showed y'all the fuckery that's going on that they trying to give y'all. They never told y'all from the beginning. Still to this day, who you are. We still gotta crawl back the goddamn layers. And thanks to brothers like Duke of Tears, it's easier for us. Thanks to brother Hakeem Bey, is easier for us. Thanks to sisters like Yafa Bey, it's easier for us. So we really got to start paying homage and stop drawing these lines because we are one people. We are the Aboriginal people. We are the man. Listen, once y'all know, y'all motherfuckers will know, man.
You have to define it though. You cannot use a designation to define you as a specific people. You are an Aboriginal what? Not you, brother, but I'm just saying Aboriginal what? Aboriginal
right.
America. Okay. What is your Aboriginal America? You see what I'm saying? Saying Aboriginal is not enough. The designation does not give you the distinctive identity. And that's what I think people are missing. You cannot use an adjective to verify the verb. You understand? More is a non-inflectional verb that appears as a noun. So I can be a more, or I can say, look at that more, or I can say, give me some more. You see what I'm saying? Or I can say,
right.
that is meaning love. You know what I'm saying? So it is not bound, but Aboriginal, ab, can mean father, but it can also mean to abhor, meaning to negate. And when the cracker used it, that's the context he's using it in. So if you're not going to define specifically what it is, you cannot define what it is by using that as the specific definition, because that is there to describe what type of original you are. You see what I'm saying? So
no, that's fact.
Be in the Aboriginal nation unless you were part of the Australian Aboriginal nation that gave that passport to Julian Assange so he could get out when they was trying to get him. Unless you down with them, you can call yourself Aboriginal, but that needs to be qualified by whatever tribe, band, nation, pride, clan that you are associated with. You understand?
Absolutely.
From lack of. So you out here calling yourself this, setting up a place on this, but that whole culture that y'all doing this came from Noble Drew Ali. He was the first one that told you that you was never brought from Africa nowhere. He was the first one to come and tell you that you was a Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, Indian. Ain't no one told you that before him. But y'all want to diss him. Y'all want to act like, oh, well, he said he Moors. That had nothing to do with it. Look at them pictures of the Moors that was there in the 20s. You will see people with war bonnets on, feathers on, turbans on, burnouses on, right? Pyramid feathers on. All different, but all together. He wasn't making no military coat where y'all niggas got to dress all up like y'all in the army. Like, that's not what we got into this for. I didn't get into this for somebody else to tell me what to do. Tell me what to be, how to live. For all of that, stay 85.
Right. Niggas start doing their own research.
Understand what nationality is, and don't let these YouTube pundits screw you out of your own inheritance because they done made more a boogie term for you. Or because these niggas that's now against it actually can't be it because they joined up with Freemasons, because they joined up with Eastern Stars, because they out here doing illicit things, being sodomites and whatever. So because they can't do it, they want to discourage you on it. Same thing for those Moors in the temple, man. Whether you in the temple or out the temple, I don't care. If you are Moor, I love you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we all we got. So I'm not set tripping. If y'all niggas want to set trip on me, then that's on you. But just know, when the rubber meet the road, man, and the shit go down, the divine creed says we are not supposed to choose anybody on our own. So if that's what y'all niggas is doing, and y'all swearing oath to ghosts and shit, do y'all little fake Freemasonic oath, and y'all feel that y'all could be Moors and Freemasons and shit at the same time, and Christians, and Crips, and Bloods, and GDs, and Vice, this is what these niggas be on now. You could be anything. No, you can't be, because there's still niggas out here that will check you. There's still real organizations out here that's not playing. And not every Moor that you hear or know and see about is on YouTube or on the internet. There's a lot of powerful people out here, man. A lot of powerful people. And they don't even fuck with the internet like that. They don't mess with Moors like that, or Aboriginals like that, because they actually in the world making shit happen. So again, man, come out of the clown costumes, come out of all of the fake shit, and come home, man. Declare nationality. Be Aboriginal for real. Be Aboriginal to the point where the federal government is backing up what you're saying. That's the type of shit I'm on. When the devil can co-sign the very same shit that he don't want you to have for you to be free, you know you made it. So every time I get a call from one of my Moors and they tell me some beautiful story about how some white man bowed to them when they see their passport or they did this or that, whatever, that make me feel good. That make me know I'm doing my job.
Right.
You understand?
That's
and
right.
You should have that experience too, B. Some people that's out here really doing it. Stop trying to set niggas up. Stop trying to put niggas in the trick bag. Stop trying to call people out their name. Stop trying to clickbait and make up fake rhetoric when you just really a truck driver. Like, this is what it is. Be yourself. That's why I thank you for having me on the platform, brother. And having me.
Nah, I appreciate.
After that last, not your show, but that one show that I did, I didn't even know it was like that. So I had the low-key blacklist from me with them niggas. Just like there's another group of these fake Israelite dudes. They all half original. They all got like white mamas and shit. And they on the internet trying to promote this idea of this fake Christian kingdom that existed here under some fake nigga named Prester John. When all of that coming from the fake apostolic succession and it's coming from a backward ass version of Jesuit apostolic succession. So the same niggas that's backing these fake, they even going to the link, they call themselves Aboriginal Indigenous Hebrews. Like what, nigga? Like what? You know what I'm saying? If
yeah, that shit wild.
And then why you use an Aboriginal and Indigenous with Hebrew? And then the niggas that's kicking this to you look straight like white boys, straight mestizo white boys. But they
right
rosters, and I told you,
and Mexicans and shit.
The Mexican nigga, right? This nigga, all of them dudes, Them roster dudes and all of them dudes, them Prester John dudes, all of that shit is coming from that Ethiopian, Axumite, Roman, Sabaean line. You see what I'm saying? Because all them niggas be Christians. That's what I'm telling you. Roman Christians. So they your enemy too. But they out here giving you false information, trying to take my image, trying to throw me in there. Then I go on these niggas' pages. I went on all them niggas' pages when I heard that they was talking about me. All them niggas in their comments, calling them my email. Hit me up directly. Be a man. You think them niggas would hit me up? No. They're gonna be hoes. They become hoes. They make videos and shit. Because these niggas is not real. They not real. They not ready to see real people like me.
Them be the same motherfuckers.
Life to start talking that Scientologist shit. We ain't having that.
Them be the same motherfuckers showing you goddamn Native Americans talking about they Negro. And these motherfuckers be Cambodians or some shit.
They work for the same devil, for the same people. And any blacks that's unfortunately following behind them, you got one of them that's on here as a goddamn chain smoker. This nigga's out here always talking about the Bible. Like, come on, man. These niggas is all out here. They all lost. And they hate melanated people who know who they are and know their history and ready to bang on them for it. Not on the internet. I'm talking about real life. Fuck all that debate shit. Let me know where you're going to be. I'm going to bring the Moors. You won't be, and we could do a straight debate right there. No cameras, no nothing. I'm that type of dude. I don't want to do that. Because these niggas don't stand for nothing. Because you can't nobody with no nationality build or go at somebody with one. Remember that. So again, Islam to the ancestors, Islam to all of the greats that came before me, Islam to all of the listeners. Thank you guys for putting up with me and listening to what I've been saying. Whether you agree with me or not, personally, I don't care, because I know what the truth is, and I've been out long doing it. So again, go back, look at my cat, man. Before you come out here trying to just come out think I'm just some new nigga out the blue. Like, no, I've been out here.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's quite a few trolls on here.
You know what I'm saying? So don't act like I'm just some Johnny come lately nigga out here just trying to toot my own horn. I'm the last nigga on that. But I'm not gonna let you pee on my head and tell me that it's raining. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let you be out here misleading my people. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be the one that they go to for knowledge when you really just perpetuate the same fake Hindu caste system, satanic shit that y'all niggas been trying to do on us since the fall of Granada. But we back now. So all bets is off. So again, Islam to all the Moors, Islam to all of the American Indians, Islam to everybody who knows that they Aboriginal or origines to the land. Big up to all of the blood right heirs. Big up to the Sultanate. Big up to the Moor Science Temple. Big up to Divine National Movement. Big up to all of, again, our fallen soldiers that we don't even, for some reason, think about no more. There's too many to name. Thank you again, brother, for having a platform. I want to say thank you to my son. Thank you to my queen, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to be doing this. And thank you again to all of the ancestors and all of us that actually stood the test of times, all of us that didn't sell out, all of us that didn't join the Masonic order, all of us that didn't sell our brother and sister, all of us that didn't get with the white chick, all of us that didn't get with the white man, all of us that chose not to S the D to get the deal. This is for you. I'm getting that. You know what I'm saying? And just know somebody out here is pulling for you to keep your integrity, to keep your drive, to keep your verve, to keep your manhood. Because real men know you can't be a real man and have everybody like you. You know what I mean? If you doing
That's
you
a
man
fact.
out here and everybody like you might be doing something wrong. Because 10 chances to 1, a man gonna stand for something whether other men like it or not. And that's the type of stuff that we made back to that type of time. We can get everybody off of this fake demon time shit that these black Freemasons got them all becoming sodomites in. Okay? So again, if you're going to try to come at me with anything, before you even think about me, before you even think about coming at Brother Aboriginal Power, go and hit up Meg and the rest of these niggas that's turning your daughters and sons into and sodomite. Okay?
Facts.
That's your enemy. We are your salvation. We are the ones that's out here not taking a deal. So that way, to create something, so that when y'all niggas do want to escape, you got somewhere to go. All right? So again, justice.
Hey, man.
Inland Moors in America. Big up to my man Sultan with Noble Republic. Big up to my man Kenneth Ill. All of the Moors, man, that support me on Facebook and other realms and stuff. All of the sisters, thank you for all of the support. And again, brother, thank you for having a platform and wanting to deal with truth more than likes and dopamine rushes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on. This was your second time. You definitely added a lot of clarity to a lot of things, a lot of information. And it's always a blessing for you to take your time out to even come build with the family this afternoon. So definitely gratitude and blessings to you and sending it.
We posted with stuff that we doing as we start to become more public with what we're doing in our government and all of that, man. But you know, we don't really speak about shit till it's done. So
right, that's a fact.
Prayers are for you, prayers for people. Follow the divine practice, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality. The end is not yet. We are in the apocalypse, but the world is not over. The great opening is coming between December 19th to the 22nd. So prepare yourself for that. When you actively activate your superpowers and all this other stuff, of the grand quintuplets, that's coming, because the actual calculated end, which I told people in my book, you can check out, it's called The Dark Scope 418. It's on my website. 2012, December 21st, 2012 was the 0 year calculated end. The real calculated end of the Mayan calendar is actually December 21st, 2020. 0 year. So it's actually now, brother and sister. So this is the time for us to advance a state, and it starts with you. So again, man, love yourself, love your empire. Long live the empire. Long live the Moors, the creator. Long live the fighters. You know what I'm saying? And peace to you, brother.
Hey, peace to you, brother. Peace to you. So, hey, everybody, make sure y'all smack that like button. We about to get ready to get out of here. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Hey, support the channel, y'all. Support the channel. Y'all already know how we give it up.
Open up the heavens, let the sunshine in. About to begin, giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. Here comes the Duke Tears with some more
Going out to the Allman, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the Allman, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the
moving through like an eagle, more like a stinging bee. Ancestors is trapped right in front of me. Amorrica dynasty live inside me. Moon goddess is work, she work.
Make sure y'all thumb up that video, y'all. Thumb up the video, man. Support the channel if y'all want to donate for my time and content. And for cracking the mold, man, blurring the lines, stepping over, trying to connect the shit, bringing us together, man. That's what it's about, man. Unity. Fuck all forms. Y'all want to donate? The link is at the end of the thing, ticking across, man. Moderators, y'all can drop the link for my cash app, y'all want. Make sure y'all support the brother Duke as well.
Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the Allman. My talk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Skokie, and know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the tomahawk chop. An entire city block, big buffalo people coming back to wreck shop. Shit, pop about and pop, can't stop the reverse for raw. Indigenous rock with the native chant, Christ war dance, at a glance. Anyone who glance at the Shechem war dance, King 7 feather owl, the Moorish code of power. Make all these 14th Amendment rappers throw in the towel. Square, compass, and travel. These masons taking oaths, disrespecting ancestors, selling their souls to ghosts. So raise my glass, make a toast to Aboriginal hosts, traveling through the cosmos. That's most meaning, that's on top. My wounded knee bandaged up. Black Hawk, what's up? Geronimo Skull. We taking it back from the tomb of the bones when we coming in the room. And we zoom like, oh man, my talk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw.
All right, shout out to the brother Duke of Tears, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all really, really enjoyed that, man. Like I said, I like to bring the platform to give people be able to teach and drop their information. You know what I'm saying? So, and any other time I drop my information, but I do like to extend it for people to come get their point of view from their data and their research. So shout out to the brother Duke of Tears for coming through and dropping that fire information. Seen a few trolls in here, man. That's what's up. I know trolls never hit the link when it's time to get it in, or the time to debate, or the time to deal with information. We not here for the chaos, man. None of that shit that y'all can do will affect nothing. We are the Aboriginal indigenous people to America, and it's fuck all foreigners. And that's just the truth, man. Fuck all the foreigners. Y'all niggas is nut hugging and meat riding little taco and the mestizos now. Y'all gonna get it, man. And that's just by the nature of the Most High. I ain't got nothing to do with it. You understand? It is what it is. You understand me? So, you know, I hope y'all enjoy this. I hope y'all, you know, appreciate this. I got another bill scheduled for you guys later on this week. Another fire bill from another guest coming out. It's going to be another fire bill. We're going to get into some information, some data. You already know how I gets down. So, but at the end of the day, man, y'all know who y'all are, man. The real ones, y'all definitely know who y'all are. I support y'all. Much love and blessings. The fake ones, man, y'all know who y'all are too, man. You trolls, you nut huggers, you mestizo, Mexican, mongoloid lovers, man. We know who you are, man. And you can't run no more, man. You done showed your true colors, man. And it ain't brown, man. It ain't copper, man. It ain't rustic, man. It ain't mahogany, man. It ain't us, man. We ain't the same people, man. You understand me? So, hey, at the end of the day, drop that link. Maz, drop the link to the Cash App for anybody that may want to donate. That feel free. It's up to you. Anything would be muchly humbly appreciated. You already know how it go. We're gonna get it in for my time and content. You understand me? Make sure y'all thumb up the video. The link to the shit is on the screen, ticking across, scrolling across. We got the brother Root Word on the panel. Peace to Root Words. What it do?
Peace and light, brother. All I gotta say is that was a good build, man. We won people. I like how you leave the options open for a person to learn. You know what I'm saying? Whether they on the home team or on another team. I just like how you do it, bro. Salute, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. We got to be non-biased. A lot of these niggas get butthurt and be emotional to this information, and they don't want to let nobody a chance to expound on what they talking about. And that's where a lot of the contentions and the bullshit come from, because a lot of niggas like to interrupt or argue or be subjective or just, you know, nitpicking before the person even get to expelling on what he really talking about, what anybody is talking about for that nature. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm non-biased. I'm always urged. And if I got something to disagree with, I definitely disagree with it, quote my sources, and move on. It's nothing else to do about it. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody got their own right to opinion. That's what make us special. That's what build character in us. Because we all learn different. We all absorb shit different. We all implement and we put out shit different. But we all should be manifesting one particular thing, which is waking up the indigenous Aborigines that don't know who they are. You understand? Put them in a rightful position. So, yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoy this. I'm glad you enjoyed this, Root Word. Shout out to Root Word.
Yeah, it seemed like Moors don't be really having a problem with the so-called anything, but it just be coming from. I just like how you did it though, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just, it was wonderful though. But it was funny how he was like, ah, shit. I started laughing. I know it's funny though. He got on this hookup like, y'all want to meet in person, B? Ah, shit. Aseer got on this hookup, man. Y'all be clowning us hard, man. You know what I'm saying? That should be wild.
You funny as hell, bro. But shout out to Chief Sun Al, shout out to the brother Trey Ali, and shout out to Keith Roof for your donation. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. But like I said, y'all, I do this shit for y'all. We always be having these conversations and disagreements with different forms. Hey, it's not for me to grab a mongoloid mestizo to get up on her, but 9 times out of 10, they won't hit the link and come build. I will give them the opportunity. Y'all favorite mestizo Mexican that y'all love, I will let them come on and build on their behalf. But they scared to come and do it. Because, it is what it is. They not for you. They never have been for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like how he was talking about we've always been here as an empire, and just my opinion of it. I'm not talking for him, but I think he was talking in the empire days when we had a empire that was from here that predates a lot of shit. And when you look up the city Baltimore, it says that city has has been a native. It's Wikipedia easy. Just look it up. It says the city has been native to this land for 10,000 years. It was one of the oldest cities in America. They didn't say nothing about the Europeans built it. And then when you look at cities like Baltimore, that's indigenous to America. That's why I keep saying I'll never
Yeah,
take
a
away.
lot of these people know that the shit that they talking about is compressed. All the history that they told you is fake. All the history that is true only reside and exist within the goddamn 1500s. But I just want to let that be known, get a good outlook. I appreciate the brother Duke for coming through. It was definitely a fire bill. Peace, love, and light to everybody out there. We about to get ready to get out this thing. I hope y'all enjoy this. We out this thing, man. Hey, at the end of the day, this was a fire bill. Y'all ain't get this type of information. Nigga been out here 20 plus years. Sorry about that. Dropping this fire information. You understand? Came on this panel and gave y'all some real game, some real history, putting y'all up on some real shit. So at the end of the day, we got to do this shit. I don't do this shit for money, subscribers, or none of this shit. I don't put my shit on nothing. Hey, y'all put my shit on the social media outlet. Y'all put this information out there. Other niggas in this shit just to get y'all to get money from them, man. So y'all know who they is, man. We do this shit for the real.